There we are. We're back. Alright, we are on Central Europe. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. We have arrived. Let's see. Acheron is ready. Art is ready as well. Alright, good stuff, guys. Let's just hop on into the first PvT of today. What is Zerg and Protoss? We'll just get ourselves some Terran in there as well, alright? For those who do enjoy themselves some lovely Terran plays. And, alright. Here we go, here we go. Oh, yes. Oh, I love it when art goes pink. That's the best of the best. Because then I get to do this during the introduction. In the top right side, we have ourselves a pink Polish Protoss. He is none other than Alpha X's Art. Bottom left side, there he is, the green Terran player, representing Team Rotti. And all of Spain, he is Acheron. A very, very strong opponent indeed here for Art today. Art, though, on the other hand, he's no slouch himself. He is well known within the Alpha X community overall. On the grander scene of things, maybe a little bit less recognized overall. I think Acheron a big boost overall, of course, because he did get into the team of Rotti, which just overall is, you know, a popular guy. So immediately that is quite a publicity boost. And rightfully so, of course. Don't get me wrong on that one. But, yeah, Art overall, if you guys don't know about him, very strong guy. Always just continuously representing himself in the higher overall rankings and standings in the MVP Cup, the monthly MVP Cup that we do hold for Alpha X, which is where we have all our players kind of competing. Unfortunately, Ragnarok and Zaun, they are unable to compete, of course, so they're not there. But Art very often being able to take out players such as Vindicta, Estrella. He gives great matches as well against Massa or Future. All these players, they do have a rough time against him. And he definitely makes it one hell of a show for us every single time. So, you know what, Acheron, I'd say, is kind of in a similar overall ranking. Probably once they get himself, you know, above that, of course, but overall, I feel like Art should be in some pretty reasonable state here. We're seeing a double Reaper opening here for Acheron. I say double Reaper, I mean double Rex Reaper, really. It's kind of why I went silent there for a little bit, because I wasn't really expecting this, you know? I wasn't necessarily expecting a double Rex Reaper. Now, Art did scout that there was no command center on the low ground here, after Acheron did pretend to kind of put it down on that low ground. So that must make some of the alarm bells start tingling here for Art. Makes his first Stalker, needs to Chrono Boost out that other Stalker. And, of course, he's making a shield battery in the natural. I wouldn't mind seeing another shield battery in the main base, but he's not aware, of course, yet that this is the Reaper play. So he might still be expecting the most of the attack from the front. Now he sees that it's Reapers. He saw the second Reaper, so now puts down that second shield battery right there. Great play overall. Has that second Stalker staying on top of the ramp. 3 Reapers, though. They can be quite difficult to deal with for a single Stalker. And here we go. Yeah, that goes Acheron. Jumps right on top of that Stalker. A little bit out of reach for that shield battery. It's not going to finish in time here. And that's a rough... Oh, my dear lord. A little bit of miss of targeting that for Art overall. A lot of those Reapers on half HP. Instead of one of them dying. I'll have to wait and see if that is going to be... You know what? So far, actually, none of them really hurts. Healing up now again. Stalker and a probe have been killed off. Sorry, guys. Apparently, I've lost my ability to talk right now, but I'm sure it will come back to me in a couple of minutes, hopefully. As soon as I'm, you know what, overall used again to solo casting. But this is starting to really ramp up this damage right here. This double Reaper Rex aggression Already killing off a reasonable amount of probes. Now, still needs to do a bit more, I'd say, to really make this worth it. But with the amount of Reapers that he has, he very well should be able to make something happen here. So far, I mean, again, only a single Reaper lost there, keeping most of his Reapers alive. That's a big deal. Behind this, he's getting himself the siege tanks, more Marinas out there as well. I'll have to wait and see. Oh, my dear lord. There we go. Arts finally gets rid of another one, but for the price of another Stalker as well. So 3 Stalkers versus 2 Reapers. That is a big deal. Also the 5 probes, actually. So, yeah. Alright, so a Robotics Bay immediately thrown down here for Art. Wondering what he is planning to do with this. Maybe go into a quick Colossus or... Yeah, probably, right? Probably should be the way to do this, I'd say. Not completely convinced, but... I mean, Disruptors here would be a weird call. I guess he knows that there's no other Reapers being added into the mix here. That would be a little bit suicidal, I believe. To really double down on the just mass Reapers continuously here. Don't see that all that often against a Protoss player, but guess that has a reason. Acheron making this work absolutely wonderfully though so far. And really showcasing why he is on Team Rotti. Rotti definitely scouting out some nice, interesting players here. There we go, one-shotting probes now, of course, with this amount of Reapers. Does get another 6 kills here. And that's right before the amount of time when these Reapers will kind of become useless, right? Will not gain that much value anymore in the late game. So just kind of goes in here, gets more kills, and sets himself up, actually, absolutely wonderfully for this mid-game here. Actually, ahead in the workers overall with a good 5 right now. And that is the opposite of what you want to see for a Protoss player, of course. Not just because, you know what, it's not tied up on the work account, but he's not ahead. And you kind of need to be ahead on the work account versus a Terran, mostly because of those mules, of course. Because that's just a crazy amount of money that Acheron is going to be steamrolling ahead right now. Alright. We already do have the Colossus on the field. Extended Thermal Lance as well on the way. So I feel like you should be alright against that push. But there are 3 siege tanks though. They do pretty darn well. Actually going up to 4 siege tanks here. Feels like he delayed his starport here for a little bit perhaps. In order to get more siege tanks out. In case there would be a counter-aggression on the ground. Which makes sense, honestly, overall, if you do go for that, well, a big Reaper ball. Of course, you're not going to have as many ground units overall, so to then reinforce your ground forces here with the extra siege tanks instead of something like Medevacs or of the likes, then it might be a little bit easier for you to set up shop on that 3rd base. Right, Art will still try to make something work here. Has only 2 Colossi though. A very small amount of Stalkers. 2 Sentries. I don't think he's going to be able to get anything done here. Except if he does get a nice angle onto the 3rd base. He might be able to get a couple of SCV kills or something with the Colossi poking in from the right side. We're not seeing that happening though from Art. He's playing it safe here. Doesn't want to commit to something like that with such a small amount of units, and I don't blame him whatsoever. That is it's just overall absolutely terrifying to try and do something like that against a Terran player. It's already proven that he's willing to do some wild stuff overall. Zealots and Colossi now on that right side. Could this be the time where Art feels a little bit more comfortable with attempting something like this? Those are 2 Medevacs actually, just barely not being scouted here. In return, of course, those Medevacs not seeing this attack coming up either. And that could be problematic here, as there's not that much in the way, shape or form and in defense for Art. If Art goes for a big warp in here at this front side, just as these Medevacs, and that's kind of what we're seeing right now, right? He's using his warp in right now at the front. And that means he might have to use a recall here on this army. when he's trying to set up for an attack. And yeah, there we go. Okay, does have to get that recall there, and Acheron just not only killing off the probes, but of course as well giving himself a lot of breathing room on his side of the map. Now he knows that he's not going to be attacked for quite a while, right? At least as long as it takes him to move back across the map. There's a couple of Stalkers stuck here now that need to protect that mineral line in case the drop reappears at a later point in time. And 2 more medevacs will be able to split off from the defensive forces of Acheron to go for another attack here in the top left side. Armor and ground weapons for both these players finishing up around the same time, so kind of equalizing out that overall exchange of things. This drop on the top side did get spotted by a pylon that was here previously. Did get picked off, but you know, nice stuff overall. I'm a bit surprised that we don't have an observer over here on the right side. It's a very common thing for a Protoss to do. Instead, how many observers do we have actually? 1, 2, 2 observers. So 1 with the main army, 1 with the at the front side of Acheron's base. Hoping to see the siege tanks move out if they ever do move towards the opposite side of the map here, of course. Alright. On Shockwaves and Storm for both of these players going into the later parts of the tech tree. And so far, I mean, Acheron, he is looking absolutely brilliant in this. Still has those medevacts as potential threat continuously lurking about. Will be able to get another big drop going into the main base, actually. Once more, getting caught with his pants down a little bit here is Art. Art is ready with Stalkers full in the natural, but the main base completely open right now. And those Marauders and Marines, will they actually get both the forges? Yes, they will. That is quite big. Both those upgrades getting denied right now. As Acheron's still going pretty strong in his own upgrades on the other side of the map. Almost ready with the +2/+2. Getting himself the air weapons for the Vikings. A great thing as well, as we do have those Colossi, of course, on the map here for Art. And very often you do see the Protoss also, of course, changing it up and moving into the late game Stargate attack. Getting himself some carriers, maybe disruptors, and if you're already on the on top of the upgrades for your Vikings and stuff like that, making, well, anti-transitions becomes so much more easier. Oh my dear lord, that would have been an absolutely... Okay, yeah, Art, come on, you want to engage those tanks before they actually get in position here. Doesn't really get the option though. 2 storms on the top side, reasonable connections, could have been a lot better, could have been a lot worse. But it's still quite scary, of course, here for Art with this amount of Vikings here. Oh my god, the siege tanks getting good connections there onto the Stalkers. But the siege tanks do still get cleaned up, and the Bioforce is now stuck in between a rock and a hard place. One more storm on the Vikings here. Now, they are too far removed from the battle overall. There is another drop from Acheron, though. Still killing off more probes on that right side, so lovely little bit of... Oh, wait. Where did that Archon come from? What in the... What? There's no Warprism here. Where did he come from? Were there just two... were there just two High Templar chilling on the Watchtower here or something? I don't even know. Oh, good pick off there on the low HP medevac. Looks like he will be able to shut this down. One more blink. Oh, doesn't quite have it. Only now available. That is unfortunate. But, yeah, as we are seeing right now, the Stargates have been added. There are the carriers. Acheron, though, I mean, I'm still very much liking his position, but Odds has done pretty well with holding that attack, right? He lost 30 probes, which is a big amount, I have to confess. But he's still on a reasonable amount of bases. Would have liked it if this base was up a little bit earlier. Then it probably would have been killed off by that push. It's gonna come down to if Art will be able to transition into these carriers and the disruptors nicely, comfortably, right? But it looks like Acheron already kind of preempting this and starting to prep up for such a composition here. As the Vikings getting the Liberator range as well against the Disruptors. That is very important. And not only that, he's also steamrolling ahead with the upgrades here. +3/+3. Very important for bio units. And a lovely thing overall for Acheron. Now, both players are maxed out, though, to be fair. Let's take a look at the amount of carriers. We have 4 carriers, and we have only a single Disruptor. So, odds, I would say, should try to find some way to trade out some of these Gateway forces in order to buffer up his big, beefy carrier and Disruptor attack. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. Sending those Zealots in, more so here to try and get something done while not losing the game immediately, because he he just took a bad fight. Just gonna go for a bit of harassment. There we have some SCVs go down. Probably Acheron not that worried about this at this moment in time. Just kind of allows him to get a bigger army as he's making more command centers already. So in a way, this is kind of helping out Acheron, unfortunately. Alright, massive EMPs on that army actually. Jeez Louise. Luckily, there was a bit of a, a little bit of a wall here that did allow R to escape. But this army's still pretty low. Those Archons extremely low, actually. Disruptor here will get Woof on his shot, but doesn't get cleaned up. I thought for a moment there that would be the case. And yeah, we're just not having the entirety of Art's army here. Of course, still one Disruptor, still one carrier in a production tab. Oh, Storm actually from behind. That's doing alright here. One more Storm. Oh, that would have been nice, but not being able to get it. The carriers are doing good against the Vikings. The Vikings are almost gone now, but there's still a lot of Ghosts and a lot of Marines. They do pretty darn well against carriers as well. And that's one Disruptor that does go down. Bought a little bit of time here, but it looks like Acheron may just barely have enough here to push on through and get underneath these carriers, which are completely out of interceptors right now. The Zealots as a last-ditch effort being warped in here, trying to buffer up for those carriers to allow them get those interceptors back, but it's just not quite happening. DTs, I mean, we have so much scan right now available, and GG is called. And there you have it. Oh, dear Lord, another time. Another time, not right now, Miss Macherino. Thank you though for that lovely little bit of advertising. But anyway, well done there by Mr. Acheron. Art, of course, to be fair, he did kind of fall behind in that first couple of, well, in the first couple of minutes in that game. Losing a lot of probes, losing those Stalkers for very little return. Oh, let me make that with Game Hearts right there. Alright, game number 2. Death Aura. This is Art, his map choice. And let's see what they will be able to bring to the table right now. So yeah, very interesting opening, and I'm wondering if we're going to be seeing that again in the best of 5 here for Acheron. Very, very fun overall little strategy. But you have to wonder that Art is going to have to kind of start being aware of this being a possibility now as well, right? Kind of scouting through the main base a little bit better, checking all the corners to see whether or not there is a second barracks. But the scary part, I really say, of this, to me, seems that you could do this with a proxied barracks as well, in a way. And then those other Reapers would arrive even sooner, and that may just be even rougher to deal with then. Alright, but with that all being said, let's just give it up for once more the Pink Polish Protoss in the bottom left, the bottom right side. Is that bottom left? That is silly. Alright, anyway, here's Alpha X Odds. And one of Team Rotti's finest, the green Terran player right here from Spain. He is Acheron. In the top left side. Took a little bit of a pause there, made sure I was going to say it correctly. Don't want to stumble too much over my own tongue. It's not the way of the proper casting, of course. Whenever somebody from Team Ruddy is in, I'm always like, alright, I need to up my overall casting quite a bit, because you know what? Who knows? Who knows? Might have the man himself watching his own players, kind of trying to figure out what they're doing. He probably has me muted, and he's just like kind of, if he were to be watching, just kind of chilling himself, thinking about the game. Doesn't want the weird fellow Dutchman talking nonsense through the thing. Most likely. Oh, this is nice. Oh, Art needs that shield to recharge. Didn't quite get it. That's quite a unfortunate thing that to occur. It's only one probe, but definitely don't want to lose those, of course. Not only just a little bit of extra mining loss when it does return, but also, of course, a bit of a mental thing, right? You kind of mess up in a way, a little bit of a micro might get stuck in your mind, and that's goedenavond, Malta Soron. Welcome, my man. Welcome to the Alpha X scrims, where Acheron and Art are duking it out first and foremost here in his best of 5. Afterwards, we'll have Vindicta versus Solea. Looking forward to that one as well. I'm a massive Vindicta fan, so it's always fun to see him play. He's streaming a lot now as well. Oh my dear. Okay. Huh. Guess that is still... that was a big jump for that Reaper. I'm not surprised how he can get up there, but... That was a big one. Felt like an entire football fields of worth of skipping there. Okay, Art comes in here with the first initial adept. Kind of wants to deny a little bit of mining. Maybe get a marine, maybe get an SCV. Not really going to be his lucky day. Safety bunker was created here by Acheron. Playing it smart, playing it safe. Being able to keep that adept from scouting out the main base as well. And then, you know what, we can see into, of course, so we know that it will be a Widow Mine drop. Overall, Art looks like he should be able to get all the tools that he needs, though, to be able to set up for this with the Blink play already on the way. And, you know what, those pesky little Widow Mines, of course, always might be able to just squeeze their way in there. And just 1 second where you're not paying attention can be enough for the Terran to get a deadly amount of probe kills. And we'll just skyrocket him into a wonderful position in the overall game. I'm a bit disappointed overall that we don't have Acheron doing that Reaper opening again. I guess, you know what, it's a little bit of a one-off, perhaps in a best of 5. We might be seeing it again at some later points, as it kind of perhaps leaves the overall mental space of Art, where he doesn't really consider it a thing anymore. You know? It's like, alright, we're playing regular now, we're playing the normal stuff this time around. I can relax a little bit, no crazy Reaper stuff happening anymore. And that's when you hit him with the more crazy Reaper stuff, of course. Alright, Widow Mine drop looking to come in. That Reaper has been picked off, that's always nice. But this does mean that the Stalkers are all the way on the other side of the map. And actually, well, I say on the map, it kind of feels that way when there's Widow Mines in your main base and your Stalkers are that far away. Only getting 1 worker kill though, that is quite big for Art. 1 missing the shot there into the gas geyser, the assimilator. Overall, some pretty nifty stuff. We're seeing 2 more bunkers being created here. Acheron realizing that it is the Blink play. How many gateways do we have, actually? It's only 3 of them. It's definitely no full committal to the Blink play here for massive amounts of aggression. We might see a little bit, but I don't necessarily think you need to have those other the other bunkers. Then again, I suppose rather safe than sorry. And he doesn't quite know the exact amount of gateways, right? He got in there for a short, brief seconds. The Reaper was supposed to scout the other side of the Protoss base. Didn't get to do so. So I guess he's just, you know, trying to play it safe in this moment in time, I think. Oh my dear lord, that could have been pretty big. Killing off the Observer kind of shuts down a lot of the potential here for Blink Stalkers. Doesn't happen though, fortunately for Art. But at the same time, I mean, he is really not going to be able to get much done here. We'll send the Warp Prism to the top side. Did I speak too soon? Maybe he will get some work done here. With those Blink Stalkers, of course, you don't need to rely on that Warp Prism to escape either. So, Interference Matrix not necessarily going to be the end of things here. Gets a single SCV. Delays this gas a little bit here. And 2 more barracks on the way for Acheron. So, we're seeing a big 2-base all-in coming from him here, I would say. And overall, just having these Stalkers already at the front door, looking pretty darn smooth. Art should be aware that this is coming in. Might be able to slow it down a little bit as well. Poke away at some Marines, some Marauders. That would be absolutely lovely for him. Get 1 or 2 more extra weapons. And all while this is happening, of course, as well, he's getting himself the Colossus behind this with extended thermal lance. Now, we will have, of course, 2 interference matrices from this Raven. So as long as that stays alive here, I think Acheron definitely can make quite a big play here. But that is a big if. If this Raven does manage to, first and foremost, stay alive, hit the interference matrix, that should be pretty darn nice. Okay, Art does go for the interception of any reinforcements here. And, you know, it kills off 2 Marines and a Widowmine. Lovely stuff. Recalls back home. Wants to ensure he has everything together here. Probe coming out to scout. Sees where the Terran is coming from. And sets up on this location. Acheron's wisely, though, backs up into a different location. Needs to be careful here. Widowmine does get cleaned up. Looks like he's just gonna attempt to get Art out of position right now. Move back towards his base, going for the double drop with the Medivacs on the bottom right side over here. Let's take a look what's inside of this. So Widowmine and just Bio Forces afterwards. Now recall is not available, of course, because of those Stalkers having to retreat here. Widowmine's being set off, only getting 3 kills so far. I'm rather impressed with the response for Art here. Really not losing much of any of his probes. Still losing quite a bit of mining time, though, of course, and losing a reasonable amount of Zealots. But other than that, this has been a very nice place. Wait, how long has that 3rd base been there? Am I just going crazy? Was that there before those 2 barracks were there? It very well may have been. Alright. Wish there was a build order tab in the game right now. But, yeah, of course, that is only now moving towards the 3rd base location as Art is establishing a 4th base. So, compared to game number 1, already Art looking in a much better spot overall. Will we be able to carry this through, though? I'm not completely convinced quite yet. It still looks like it could be a tough one, right, Acheron? Definitely has some tools that which he can use to make this suddenly go into his favor. In the blink of an eye. In the blink of a Widowmine. In the blink of a Medivac dropship. Coming into some weird place. But he started this to see before the Rex finished. Ah, okay. No, the Rex were there first. Ah, nice, nice, nice. Thank you. Thank you, Malta. That's some good insights right there. Alright, so now we know. But then again, yeah, that is still quite a delay on your overall economy. So, Art must be feeling pretty comfortable because, you know, he only lost 6 workers here. And that is combining the attack, that is combining the first initial Widowmine drop. Another Widowmine drop that went over here. And then the drop as well with the 2 Medivacs that went over here. So, that is quite a bit of a committal. Without much of a return. Now, to be fair, he didn't lose too much himself in those attacks. Which means he is still quite capable of probably dishing out a hefty blow. As long as he gets himself into a good position, right? If he gets good angles on the Protoss army, I feel like he still should be able to get quite a bit of damage done here. But if I somehow... Well, alright, so like a Zealot, for example, sees what is happening here. Wait, what in the... Okay, well, Zealots and Dark Templars in the main base and the third base right now. There's not that much reinforcements. A lot of kills ramping up right now for Art in that SCV line. Immediately a retaliation of the Terran forces coming into this fourth base as he realizes he needs to get something done. Oh, massive, actually. The Vikings and the Raven as well, absolutely shutting down the Colossi. And even though the angle for Acheron wasn't the absolute best, the way he engaged this was absolutely brilliant. And now I'm not quite sure if Art will be able to recover here, if he will be able to come back from this situation. He's taken so much damage. That was such an inefficient trade. There were no force fields on that ramp. Acheron just immediately just waltzed right up there. The Colossi pretty much didn't get a single shot, and that's it. That's a GG. And Acheron going up 2-0 right now. Having a lovely fight there. Yeah, Art a little bit out of position there with his forces. Had to come in from an awkward angle. And, you know what? I think that angle as well really facilitated the Viking and the Raven play for certain, right? A little bit of dead space where they had free range and really enforcing the fight there. Maybe Art would have been better off just letting that base die, unfortunately. Seeing that he was doing economic damage across the map as well, but didn't go for that one. And what we saw was Art unfortunately taking a horrible fight because of it. One that immediately snowballed completely out of control. And he's going to have to win 3 games in a row right now to still make this happen. To still allow himself to get a spot into the finals of the Alpha X Scrims. And Acheron sitting comfortably here on match point. 2 wins already in the pocket. No problem whatsoever. Let's see if they're both ready. Ready from Art. And ready from Acheron. Alright, lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. Let's see. Let's see what they'll bring for us for entertainment this time around. So that's also why he has him into aggressive. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Going for and the 5 Rex, but then also the command center. I'm still wondering kind of why Acheron made that decision. Like, was he already planning to throw down that command center afterwards? Because it does kind of seem like something that he kind of adjusted on the fly, if that makes sense. I mean, it worked out ultimately. But I still think that could have gone into Art's favor as well. Alright, anyway. Here we go. The pink Polish Protoss man. He is from Alpha X. And he is Art. Top right side. There he is. A green Terran player fighting for Team Rotti. All the way from Spain. He is Acheron. Red, white and blue in the logo right there. Representing all the best of StarCraft 2, of course. The Dutch StarCraft 2. Even though there's... I don't think there's a single Dutch player in Rotti's team, is there? Except for himself, I suppose. There's Goblin, there's Acheron. I don't think he has... Does he have more? Are there more players in his team? Those are the ones that come to mind immediately. He may have. I know Wardy took a couple of players under his wing as well, which is freaking amazing. That's just really cool to see. You know, that's the true passion right there. But honestly, though, I mean, it does definitely help out with for those players, and I suppose for being a bit of a base for teams as well. Right, a lot of teams that don't have already a platform set up in a way, so it's harder for them to get sponsors. But then I suppose for something like somebody for like Rotti or Wardy, right, who already have very stable numbers on Twitch and stuff like this, it becomes a lot easier to convince people to sponsor these players because they have another way of facilitating something there for those sponsors. It's similar as Alpha X is doing actually. So very cool indeed. And then to pick up the younger players, right? The up-and-coming players to help out the grassroots of what we hope to be the future of StarCraft 2, of course. Very, very cool to see. Alright, Acheron here, kind of looking around, checking what is happening for Ards. Are doing some pretty standard stuff so far. Getting himself that Twilight Council once again. Acheron here, he may go for a couple of Banshees. No, wait, Hellions. I know my StarCraft 2 lingo, don't worry about me. I'll have to wait and see. Yeah, even cancels those 2 Marines right there. And there they are. Alright. Now, I thought we were going to see the Starport being proxied as well by this SCV over here. But didn't happen. It's a very strong way to get those Hellions into the Protoss base way before there's Blink ready. And man, oh man, can it do a boatload of damage. I will say, the amount of times I've seen Hellions just kind of blowing probes out of the worker line, immediately just being like, well, alright, I think that might be GG. It's quite a lot more often than I've seen the Widowmines do the same thing. Oh my, it is Banshees. Why did I have a doubt myself? I wasn't misspeaking, I was just misreading my own geniusness. That was the problem right there. Alright, so probes being pulled off the worker line here and trying to combat these Hellions. Pretty nice micro so far, but more Hellions coming in from the other side. I'm surprised he actually does go for the main base here. I thought there were quite a couple of low HP probes there ready to be picked off, but instead going for the main base still gets an alright amount here. But I don't know, I could be wrong, but it felt like it maybe could have gotten more on this side. There was a shield battery and the Stalkers were closer by, but you had to circumvent the Stalkers anyway, right? And the Stalkers pretty hot on the heels of those Hellions immediately afterwards. Alright, anyway. Getting himself a solid 8 worker kills there. It's not shabby, and oh my dear lord, how did this happen? Ards! What? Oh, alright. Okay. That is an, that's a lucky break. Alright. Suddenly catching that Banshee in the middle of the map here. I don't know, maybe he saw it with like a probe that was on the map here? I'm not completely certain. But that was a lovely interception right there, helping out a metric shit on, some might say, if you pardon my French. And, oh, again, this is interesting actually. Again, we're seeing these barracks coming up for Acheron. So if he still goes for the third base behind this, we're going to be able to kind of figure out a bit better, I suppose, what his overall game plan is for the TVP matchup. And maybe he just likes to get those 5 racks before he gets the third command center. It's a little bit unorthodox, but I don't know. Maybe there's something there which I haven't really thought about. It just seems odd, right? Overall, you really don't have the money, I'd say, to facilitate production from those 2 racks and make a third command center at the same time. Alright, yeah, it looks like he is actually going for the 2 base all-in this time around. +1 and Stim are now on the way, so it's gonna take a while before he really will be able to get to commit here. Ards moving across the map with his observer. Would be nice if he does get a scout that there's no third base, but there's a Raven and Marines already waiting, patrolling this area. Ards on the case though, will not let that observer die for free. But he might need this observer back at home. Does he have a second observer? Okay, he has 3 observers. Where are they? Where are these observers? Please tell me it's not this one. Okay, where are... oh, there's one. Right, coming in right now. He has Blink as well, so he should do pretty good against this. Okay, Banshee in limbo right now. In purgatory, as some might say. The little bottom left side there, in between 2 not so friendly looking Protoss bases. What's that? What was this? I think that was an observer. Alright, one observer does get picked off. Warp Prism here, waiting for the main base to gain access there. I think he's realized that there is an attack coming in. There's the probes as well being pulled right now. There's nothing in the way, shape, or form of AoE damage for Art here. He may just want to quickly try to get a ton of the Archons because he really needs some sort of splash damage. You will be able to see this attack coming in right now, and that's gotta be a bit of a panic button right here, right? I mean, oh dear lord, he isn't even certain from which angle he is coming. He's ready at the natural base, but needs to kind of get force fields down here. Alright, does evacuate the base this time around. The Warp Prism does manage to get in here, so that is, you know what, nice damage of course, but at the same time that is another warp in that will not be able to help out with this situation here. 2 anti-armor missiles, absolutely everything for Odds being Dorito dusted right now. All the SCVs are dead, so if Odd does still just kind of stay alive here, he may be able, you know what, he just wins, but I mean, will he be able to? That's the entire question right now. I really think he just needs to morph these into Archons. Does he have Storm? He doesn't have Storm even. He doesn't have Storm started, so needs to get these transformed into Archons, these two High Templar. Trying to stay afloat here. This is, of course, the final game for Art. If he does lose this one, he's just going to go down, up in flames. Trying to secure a bottom right expansion here. Going for the base trade scenario. Everything is up in the air, though, so he's not really going to get those killed. Does he think he has Storm on the way here? That would be abysmal. Because, you know what, his Side Templar thingamajig is already gone. This is trouble. This is trouble. Yeah, there goes one of the Archons. There goes the other one. He has a pretty reasonable force here at the top side as well. I would love to see these Zealots eventually make a comeback. We do have this Nexus, of course, in the bottom right side. As soon as that finishes, he may be able to recall something. But no, okay, everything there does get cleaned up. So nothing there to really recall anymore. The army supply is still remarkably similar, right? Maybe just leave like one Zealot on each of these bases to avoid further mining. And then send the other Zealots here to... Oh, got those probes. Okay, there we have to recall. That's nice. Still has some mining going on then. And, alright, now he just needs to wait. He just needs to spend as much time here as possible. And then he may be able to get some stuff sorted, right? He might be able to... get another bit of a warp in, but oh my god, Acheron immediately
is under attack.
Sending out a single one of those medevacs. Will be able to see what is happening here. Looking for bases. He knows there's another Nexus somewhere, and now he knows where it is. There we go, probes evacuating immediately. Art on a scurry back towards that base here. Doesn't want to lose that, of course. Acheron doesn't have the money for another command center. And he hasn't sent those 2 command centers elsewhere, so it's going to take him a long time before he's mining again. And I'm wondering what Acheron is going to be doing. It looks like he's... Okay, we'll just try to close off this game right here, right now. Move in on this base and go in for the final blow. A drop over here with the Marines still going strong. 3 Marines going towards the top left side. This attack for Acheron looking pretty darn impressive still. No gateways whatsoever here to reinforce the army. The siege tank's not in siege mode just quite yet. We do have anti-armor missile once again loading in. Oh, the Liberator needs to be targeted down, but yeah, that is going to be it, guys. That is going to have to be a GG. Unfortunately here, Acheron taking a 3-0. Unless if you are an Acheron fan, of course, that is a good thing, but... well, hold up, actually. There's only 6... Oh, no, wait. There's more Marines, of course, in the bottom right. Yeah, that's it. That's it. GG. Acheron taking the series 3-0. Very, very well played by him. Very impressed. And, yeah, we'll be moving on to the finals. We'll be able to see who he is going to be facing, of course, in the next one. Let me see if I ever had a response. Yeah, alright. Okay. I'm gonna do a quick little video here, guys, about how to contribute to the Matcherino. The Matcherino, of course, I think we have... Do we have 2 Matcherinos for this one? We may... No, actually, we only have the 1. Okay, we only have 1 Matcherino. It's still pretty good, though. Go check it out, guys. Please do, and I will just give you guys a little bit of a sponsored message right here, alright? So, see you in a little bit.
My name is Rushy, and thanks for watching our StarCraft 2 content brought to you by Alpha X. Productions like this are made possible by support from our sponsors, like Manscaped. Their state-of-the-art line of grooming products, which features skin-safe technology, practically eliminates nicks or scratches, and has new, easily replaceable blades to ensure you're always getting the perfect shaves. Manscaped has other equally innovative grooming products for men, like their anti-chafing deodorant, body wash, and signature cologne, so that you're always feeling clean and smelling great. Make sure to click on Manscaped's sponsor quests and use the code MATCHERINO at checkout to get 20% off your next purchase. Manscaped, refining the gentleman. Thank you for supporting Alpha X, and thank you for considering checking out our awesome sponsors. Now, let's head back to the action.
Alright. Alright. Here we go. Another best of 5 this time around. Of course, Solea versus Vindicta should be pretty darn good as well. Vindicta saying you're feeling pretty good. That's always nice to see. And let's see. Let's see if what we're doing for the vetoes this time around. Am I picking the map again, or are we... Alright, alright. Big Zerg map, alright. Let's see. Let's think this through. Aphrodream, people say that's a big Zerg map, isn't it? Oh, wait, not this one. Cancel. What is a good map here? What is a good map here to pick for these 2 players? Should we do Eternal Empire? I think Eternal Empire is always a safe bet in a way. Pillars of Gold. I kind of like Pillars of Gold as well. Maybe let's do Pillars of Gold. How big is Pillars of Gold actually? It's still pretty big, right? We'll do... You know what we'll do? Oh god. Oh, so much pressure. All right, we'll do Pillars of Gold. Screw it. Screw it. It's one of the newer maps. It's still fun to see. Hopefully one of these players will not hate me now because of... Wait, why did I invite him to a party? Alright, that's my bad. Invite to game instead. We're on Eastern USA. That is good as well. Alright. Alright, we're doing good. We're doing good. Oh dear. We're getting heart emotes from Solea. So Vindicta doesn't hate me. Alright, anyway. Ready whenever. Alright. I'm just always thinking, like, this map, it doesn't have gold bases, it doesn't have rich Vespian geysers. It has a pretty standard layout of the map overall. You know, it is relatively big, but it's not one of the biggest maps. So I think this is just overall quite a well-balanced map. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, of course. It happens sometimes. Sometimes people laugh at my wrongness, and we'll have to wait and see. Good to go. Thanks for the cast anytime, my man. Thanks for dropping by. Meltosaurus, thank you, my man. Much appreciated. Hope to see you around another time. And we'll just say hi to these players instead. In the bottom blue corner, right here in the left, there's a... well, wait a moment. Wait a moment. Wait a moment. That's right. Here's the Spanish Zerg, another Spanishman. He's from Wizards Esports Club. That's one I haven't heard before, actually. He is the Solier. Top right side, we have ourselves a red Terran player fighting for Alpha X. He is the American Mexican. He is Vindicta. Vindicta in the TVZ matchup. Always a sight to behold. Always a lot of fun. A lot of nukes. A lot of fireworks. A very quick player overall. Let's see if he will be able to get himself into the finals here. Into the best of 7 with his opponent. Acheron, who is waiting there, of course. Or if we're going to have another TVZ there as well. With Solier moving on through. Comes down to whoever will be able to get the first to 3 wins here. And this matchup, my overall predictions for this. Let's go into predictions. That is a thing that casters do sometimes, isn't it? I don't think, well, it's hard to base it on a lot of solid ground because, you know, I haven't watched as much Solier as I've watched Vindicta. And I am a little bit biased probably as well because, you know what, I get to talk with Vindicta sometimes, so I feel a lot more connected to him in a way, you know. I watch his streams, I do all that sort of stuff. So, you know what, I'm gonna say Vindicta 3-0. As unbiased as I can get. There we are. Oh, to be fair though, getting a prediction, that's not biased in its own, is it? It's kind of just something I hope for. Okay, that's probably still biased then, isn't it? If that's what I hope for. Alright, less biased would be a 3-2 series here. That is extremely close. With Vindicta just barely inching it out. That's probably the best way you could say it. But that's also political correctness on overdrive, isn't it? So do we want to commit to that? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe we don't. I'm just going to say once again, though, 3-0 for Vindicta. Screw it. We're rolling with it. All right? I could be wrong, could be right, but I would love to see it happen here. Couple of Hellions on the way. Starport as well right now. Very standard opening here for Vindicta. Solier went for the triangular shaped base setup. So it becomes a little bit easier for potential Widow, well, not Widowmine drops, but just Medevac drops, of course, to jump back and forth between these two bases. Very nice overall areas here to abuse for that exact thing. And we're waiting to see if Vindicta will be able to pressure there, of course. Very often we see a quicker layer as well in the menu. This time around, not going to be the thing. Just playing it safe, a Baneling Nest on the way. No quick tacking so far from Solier. Banshee on the way though as well. For Vindicta, really looking to, you know, go with the safe opening here for the pressure overall. And, you know, you don't necessarily have to deal damage with this, as you can still deny a lot of creep with both the Hellions and the Banshees. So if you're not able to get like a ton of drone kills, that is still pretty reasonable because it keeps you safe, right? It also allows you to be a little bit more greedy with the SCVs. And it allows you to, oh dear lord, those Hellions. Oi, oi, oi. Definitely getting caught out of guard there. Vindicta needs to... Okay, still has 2 Hellions here at the natural as well. Trying to... This is interesting. Oh, did he lock in those Hellions? Yes. Oh, the Zerglings, yes he did. He's losing no more as SCVs because of it either, so that is always nice. Interesting maneuver there. But, you know what? That just kind of shows that Vindicta cool under pressure. Has those links running around, except for, you know what, he did attack that unbuildable brick, of course. A bit unfortunate there. That's why very often you do see people targeting those down to avoid having those be a thing. Or those situations be a thing, of course. Very difficult to deal with. Alright. 2 Evo chambers on the way, so is the Baneling Speed. Our Spanish Zerg here, looking pretty sharp. With those, you know, with the 6 SCV kills as well. It was at a moment in time where Vindicta not really that high on the worker count yet. So, actually, we're seeing quite a big deficit now between Vindicta and Solea here on the economy side of things. Which does has me a little bit worried here, honestly. Not gonna lie. Upgrades still going up equally, but other than that, still a bit frightful here for Vindicta. He is going for the bio tank route so far. I don't think he's continuously going to be producing tanks here, as we're seeing he already kind of stopped it. But probably wouldn't hurt getting a couple, like 3 or 4 of those. At minimum. Okay, so Hydra Ling Baneling style coming out for Solea. Siege tanks definitely do pretty darn good against those units. Gonna have to wonder whether or not Solea will be transitioning into the Lurkers here as well, which we have been seeing tick up in popularity overall. But to be fair, Vindicta has made a YouTube video about how to deal with Lurkers. So if anyone knows how to do it, it's the man who made the tutorial on it, of course. Wait. That was weird. And it wasn't an SCV that died, right? That was a Ling. That Ling exploded. Didn't it? What in the what? I'm not even sure anymore. I'm doubting myself now. Yeah, he got that was very weird. The death animation for the SCV already went off before the Ling got the killing blow on that SCV. Very interesting stuff here. Alright, bit of a poke happening for Vindicta. At the same time, though, a lot of the Zerglings managing to get through right on top of the SCV line as well at the same time. Vindicta still pressuring the 4th base here for Solea. Solea, you know what, probably doesn't want to lose this, but not the biggest of deals if he does. And I'm not even sure if he will here, looking pretty darn sharp. But yeah, with the 24 worker kills there, not even done yet, is he? Killing off Marines as well on this side. Should be absolutely fine. And that's a wonderful position now for Solea here. Looking incredibly sharp. With twice the amount of supply almost as Vindicta has. And in particularly, of course, that worker count. Rather troubling for Vindicta right now. +2/+2 on the way. For again, both players. And with Solea holding that the 4th base, keeping that alive, doing that amount of counter aggression with those with a relatively small amount of links. I mean, for Vindicta to still bring this one back, we would need quite a beautiful play here, and I'm not sure if it's really within the realms of possibilities anymore. Within the realms of realism, basically. Vindicta not tapping out quite yet. He will commit for another attack here. He is a very quick player after all. And now, look at that. Comes back into Medivacs. After taking the attention away on the other side here with a single Medivac, we'll be able to still pick off that command center there. Vindicta doesn't want to get caught out again here. Has his reinforcements right on top of the wall. But, of course, that does allow the Lynx to be a bit more of a nuisance on the 3rd base. Vindicta once more with his multitasking, coming in here to clean up this creep. And backs up again immediately. Those are some nice moves overall for Vindicta, honestly. He's still behind, but overall, the income advantage, not that massive into Solier's favor. Yes, he is 20 workers ahead, but a lot of that, of course, goes into, well, oversaturation right here, not really paying for itself. But this, oh my god, does Vindicta have anywhere near the amount of stuff that he needs? He needs to target down those banelings right now with the siege tank. This is rather rough. Oi, 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 oi. He will need to pick up a nice connection there onto the Marines. And this third base goes down. Vindicta, yeah, has to tap out. Was starting to make some small maneuvers and some small steps to
thanks for watching
getting himself into a reasonable position there, but not quite being able to really bring it up to a equaled out position anymore. Of course, Solier still had a large amount of those units and still was able to you know, would use the benefits that he had gotten himself there from that economic advantage to his advantage. he used this advantage to his advantage. It seems a little bit weird to say, but I mean, it is still an important thing in StarCraft 2, of course, to make sure that you will be able to make use of that sort of stuff. Vindicta. Golden Wall will be the chosen map here again by the Alpha X players. The Alpha X players do seem to like themselves some Golden Wall, don't they? I'm not complaining. I am not complaining whatsoever. Alright, here we go, inviting both these boys into the lobby. And yeah, I'm saying these Alpha X boys, of course. Estrella already picking Golden Wall as well. Going for Golden Wall against a laser. And man, oh man, what was that? A beautiful series overall. That best of 9 as well. It was earlier in this overall VOD. So if you want to check that out, go check it out right in the VOD after this, of course. But, man oh man, if you like PvZ, go check that, get those games out. That was a wonderful series. Not only because, you know what, Laser and Estrella are wonderful, incredibly tough opponents, but especially because Estrella, of course, kind of flows by his own accord in PvZ in particular, I'd say. And it's always very interesting to see. I always feel like I'm learning things when I'm watching him, you know, and that's just wonderful overall. Sometimes you know, you have these players that like to do the regular stuff, right? They feel like they figured out what works and then they're just sticking to it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if it's working and you're being able to, you know, pay the bills because you're winning tournaments with what is working, that is fantastic. But at the same time, you know what, just something that the viewer would like to see as well. It does matter. And there's these players that have just some uniqueness to that play, you know. And I feel like Estrella definitely one of those players. Vindicta as well, I suppose, also has a little bit of this flavoring, in particular in the TvZ matchup. Now, we didn't really get to see it that previous game, because we didn't really get to the place where he will incorporate his play. Which would be the Ghost, right? In the mid to late game. Or, well, late mid game, I would say, perhaps. Anyway, let's introduce these players once more. Game number 2, one map behind here on Golden Wall. The bottom left side, the blue Terran man himself, the Alpha X Vindicta. Bottom right side, there he is, the red Spanish man. He is from, what was it? Wizard Esports Club. That's kind of funny. Wizard Esports Club. He is Solier. Kind of feels like you're saying team club, you know? It's like it's not just a team, it's also a club. Then esports, because normally people will use esports already as well, kind of to insinuate that it is a team in a sense, right? Wizards Esports, that already on its own would be like an indicator that it is a team in esports. But then also adding in the word team, I find that quite funny. And it's fitting too, because it's Wizards. I don't know. Alright, anyway. Pretty cool name. Solea going for a quick golden base here, it looks like. Vindicta will not be able to spot that drone. Nice hiding there, keeping his head low. And yeah, wonderfully done overall. In fact, that's a very quick third base overall as well, right? He still got himself the 2 queens. Normally, if you got the timing of the hatchery here, I feel like that would be then a delay in the overall queens. But maybe he just didn't drone up as hard as he could have. But that doesn't seem to be the case either, so interesting. Right, anyway, nonetheless, I could be wrong about that. Okay, so what do we have coming up? That's Widow Mines with the starports right behind it. Wondering if we're going to be seeing the Widow Mine drop, and if we're going to see an armory taking place as well. We do see this sometimes from Vindicta. It's a little bit of a gamble, but I mean, if it pays off, it's going to pay off big. Very often, though, already we see the Zergs making those safety sports, of course, against any type of flying unit, whether it be the battlecruisers, the Banshees, all that good jazz. Very rare that you don't have some sort of flying harassment. A little bit less rare to not have it at the earlier stages of the game, of course, but you need to be prepared for it nonetheless. Right? Okay, that's the single Widow Mine, actually. The medevac now on the way as well. Well, how did that look like, actually? Okay, Vindicta trying to make this look normal. The medevac just barely escaping there as well, right? Interesting stuff. He's like, no, I swear, I'm making Hellions. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about it. This could be very interesting. I'm wondering if... Oh, he's just going to drop behind the gold base, isn't he? Yes, he is. Okay, that should shut down mining here for quite a little bit. Honestly. Okay, drops the Marines over here. Is he going to send the Widow Mine into the other base? Or... No, okay, we'll have the Widow Mine being some emotional support here as well. Okay, sets off on the Queen right there. Far enough out of range to make it very difficult for these Queens to finish off that Widow Mine now. As Vindicta just kind of needs to keep these units alive. I mean, it's a nice way to try and deal with the golden base, but at the same time, I mean, I think it's already paid for itself. A lot of roaches and a lot of links here on the way. The side minerals have been immediately cleaned up by Solea here, allowing him to deal with this aggression and continue mining on that gold base. Vindicta was in time, though, to save a lot of those Marines and comes into the natural base instead. But this is still a very scary moment in time here for Vindicta, of course. There's the first Banshee coming in to try and save the day here. The repair needs to happen on top of that bunker. It doesn't look like it will in time. That's very unfortunate. The Hellions and the Banshees really now the sole defense here. Okay, well, that is another bunker, actually. Hold up, the repair on that one is pretty darn good. Would love to see another wall of. Okay, only loses a single SFU to the bile, but still, I mean, that's quite a bit of damage he's taking here. And, I mean, Solea already getting on a position where it's okay if he doesn't straight up kill Vindicta right now, right here, because of the amount of SCVs that he's killing. Although I would still give a little bit of an edge to Vindicta with that third command center already up as well. Another kind of interesting thing here, I would say, is that, of course, this golden base very often for Zergs, if they do try to go for a little bit of the later part of the game, they don't like to take this one because it's so incredibly close to the Terran base, right? We can, if we have Vindicta expanding over here, it is such a short distance to push, and that is absolutely fantastic for the Terran. Very easy to set up your attack, your defense as well. It's nice and steady flow to switching between those two modes. And that's very important for Terran players, of course, to, you know what, already set up for a battle before the battle already happens. A lot of that is true for Zergs as well. But I think that's more so if they are playing against mech. and if they're playing against Protoss in a way. If that would make sense. Does that make sense? Nah, I guess it's also true against Terran. Huh. Oh, anyway, regardless. Oh, might get the queen there. Oh, barely doesn't get that final shot off. Well, there's some nice more drone damage here taking place for Vindicta. It's bringing the pain to the other side of the map. Being like, alright, this is what you get for trying to all-in me. Now, suddenly I have Banshees here, and you are quite far removed from any type of real answer to this. Also known as the Phoenix, oh, not the Phoenix, the Mutalisk. +1/+1, nice and early for Vindicta as well. I'm wondering if he will plan to attack with this finishing up right here. Okay, we'll go for the drop, so no straight up engagement, but still some pretty nice aggression can take place here, as we don't have a lot of vision for Solier, let alone creep spread going to the top side of this map so far. We have like a single ling over the further away third base for Vindicta. But that is not really there to spot for Medivacs coming in. Now, what do we have for Solier really as a way of defense? He will have +1/+1 pretty soon, but other than that, a small amount of roaches, an even smaller amount of links, it feels like. He will not be able to really hold his own against this drop, I'd say, but Vindicta plays it safe. Does pick up, doesn't want to get surrounded too much. Tries to find a better angle. And now we have so many more links here, actually, that I'm not sure if that will still work out for Vindicta. Going back and forth between these bases, though, denying a lot of mining. Doesn't get hit by the biles. This drop over here, of course, there is already a point of access for Solier to abuse this, but Vindicta really abusing the golden wall right now very nicely. Will come into the main base right on top of the Spore Crawler, though. Okay, just barely in the nick of time. Does manage to escape with the medevac, but still doesn't get any damage done. Loses the Marines and loses the medevac. Oh, no. Ah, I spoke too soon. My bad. He tricked me. He tricked me. Alright. So, Vindicta overall looking a lot better right now than he did in that previous game, of course. We're in a pretty equal setup, I would say. Perhaps Vindicta is still a little bit in the lead, right? Looking at the overall supply, looking at the amount of bases that they are having. A lot of them, well, actually that's the fourth base, of course, for Vindicta versus the fifth base of Solier. So, yeah, the advantage that Vindicta that I would give him, very, very slight here. Could go away on a single engagement, pretty much. Nice little bit of harassment once more. Liberator as well set up. Ooh, doesn't get the hatchery just quite, though. Didn't target that one. Oh, but there's no queen available. Okay. Ravages. Ravages Biles, pretty darn good too. Another Liberator over here on the golden base as well. Vindicta starting to ramp up those drone kills. 20 so far. I feel like that's going to go up on a curve right now. It's going to go up further and further. So yeah, a little bit late with the response here. But does, I guess, lose 10 workers overall. Does clean it up later though with those Ravages. And so yeah, has a scary army himself as well, right? A ton of Zerglings, a reasonable amount of Banelings, and Roaches and Ravages here to help out in the defense against Liberators. Well, mostly the Ravages, of course, there to help out against the Liberators. Another setup right there. Bit unfortunate. Vindicta cleaning up the creep, looking to start pushing forward with those siege tanks. And already, like, he is in a position where he can pretty comfortably move very close to this. Well, actually, he gets surrounded here. But yeah, pretty comfortably can set up shop relatively close to this Zerg base. We'd love to see these creep tombs cleaned up as well. That would definitely do a number on the overall creep availability here for Solier. I think he may have even spot those medevacts with those creep tumors there. Vindicta moving even further forwards. 6 siege tanks in total. A little bit too far forward, perhaps here. It looks like, yes, indeed. And not enough bio to buffer against this. We'll have to evacuate this location. Nice SimCity, though, here. Should be difficult for those links to really get good damage done. But still a wonderful trade here for Solea. Vindicta with a drop in the main base. There's, oh my god, there's a lot of banelings already. Also, not that much happening. Vindicta at the top side as well, though. He did lose his main force, but it looks like he will be able to do a reasonable amount of damage right now. Killing off this one hatchery. I was expecting him to perhaps kill off a lot more drones as well in the main base. Not quite being able to do that, though. And that's unfortunate. Again, I mean, we're in a little bit of an awkward position here. Both of these players not in a clear advantage one way or the other. Let's go back to the production tab. HiveTech is ready for Solea, so he can start up that +3/+3 as well, which is what he's doing right now. I might start to be liking Solea's position here a little bit better over the one of Vindicta. I mean, these Liberators, they are really cool, and sometimes, you know, Vindicta makes them do an incredible boatload of damage, but in this game so far, not really having been able to find that damage. Killing off a queen here as well. Nice targeting on those banelings. Let's see if we can target the other ones down as well. Getting rather close. Still gaining some value, though, of course. Okay, moving back to the safety of his siege tanks, and that is such a short position, isn't it? Like, it is so incredibly difficult now to fight the Terran when he is unsieged, because it's like continuously you should be in a good position here against this gold base in particular. Honestly, I would say, Solea, you gained your value from that gold base. You could consider just letting it go, and that's exactly what he does. Might as well start trying to take those bases further down to the south. Make a couple of spore crawlers against the Liberators, and you should be okay. A couple of these medevacts pretty darn low with the way that this game is going. This is, like, honestly, guys, I'm continuously going back and forth with who I think is in a favorable position, but with the way that these guys are expanding, honestly, I think Vindicta is in a pretty good spot so far. Just to kind of take the fight here, right? Continuously. Killing off that gold base is very nice. And now he has another base here in the just slightly to the middle of the top left. And slightly to the right of that top middle, there is a Zerg base, right? And look at how nice it is for Vindicta here to push into this location. Alright, well, he did just, of course, lose a couple of units, but other than that, he's doing a good job with this. Has an easy time to set up siege tanks this close to his opponents. Wouldn't even mind him trying to get a little bit closer here. It's a nice little place where he can make this rather abusive for the Zerg. Oh, Blinding Cloud's trying to come in from below, but not really being able to get the connections onto the siege tanks, so they are still going strong. A lot of the Zerg running through the Liberators as well, and it looks like Vindicta, as long as he doesn't take a massive baneling hit, he doesn't. Alright, easy stuff there for that final fight. And Vindicta takes game as well. Ties up the series here. G is called by Solea. We're going to go back to America, the home turf for Vindicta. And let's see what he will be able to get done there. But considering that all happens off of the back, with Solea trying to all-in Vindicta and still making it relatively close there, you have to be a little bit worried, right? Overall, maybe Solea a slight advantage here versus Vindicta. Alright, let's see what map Solea wants to play on. We'll get that hosted, of course. Eternal, alright. Did we start on Eternal? No, we started on Golden Walls, so Alright. Alright, so I guess it's a good thing we didn't start on Eternal. No, wait, we started on Golden Pillars, of course, not Golden Wall. I'm a crazy man. Alright. Get both our players into the lobby. And we'll be off right away. Okay, all tied up. All tied up. Trying to make use of the map choice of your opponent there is always a good thing, of course. Abusing one of the aspects of the map with that golden base, but ultimately a little bit of something that bit him in the behind later on, right? Going for the attack, getting held, and then just being in a position where your overall basis and your overall economy, right? The majority of your economy, right? The golden minerals, suddenly under heavy pressure, very easy to be pushed upon. And then, unfortunately, for Solera, I suppose, as well, expanding the same way as Vindicta was doing, which is never a nice thing, of course. But anyway, regardless of all of that, guys, we're in a brand spanking new position here in Eternal Empire. New planets, a new place to fight for dominance, to see who gets to overall inhabit this planet, I suppose. Right, that's what they're fighting about. Anyway, in the top right side, we have a blue Zerg player from Spain. He's from Wizard Esports. He is Solera. Bottom left side, a red Terran player fighting for Alpha X. He is the American-Mexican Vindicta. Alright. So far we have not quite seen Vindicta's signature style quite yet. Playing with the Liberators, though, does seem to be a lot more his forte recently. We've been seeing him do the Liberator harassment more and more, so he's finding some great success with it. That previous game, though, it felt like a little bit one-dimensional or two-dimensional in a way, right? Where there were not that many Liberators. Sometimes we see him sending like 3 Liberators into different locations while he's attacking as well, with a drop and a main force somewhere else. Stuff like this, right? Really just kind of putting pressure absolutely everywhere, and then the Zergs they just run out of steam. They take a lot of damage, and this is a pull first, isn't it? Jeez. Alright, let's get scouted by the SCV. I'm sorry, guys. Apparently I wasn't paying attention. The greatness of the overall spawning pool first. Let's see if it will be able to get some damage dealt here for Vindicta. I mean Solera. Okay. Remember, guys, by the way, as well, there is the Meteorino thing. Just a little heads up, as soon as these links, of course, have done their thing, we should go in a little bit of a downtime period, and should have a little bit of time here. Honestly, right now as well, these links not really going to deal game-ending amounts of damage, right? Just a little bit of a delay on that command center. It's unfortunate, but you know what? Vindicta already throwing down a 3rd command center into his own base as well, so I like that, actually. Very much liking this so far. It's like, alright, you want to delay my overall economy and try to get ahead in the economy? Well, I'm gonna do something else and get ahead in the economy some other way. Oh wait, I just realized I got a little bit peckish. But you know what, I do have myself a new pack of peanuts. Which, you know what? I really want to open up right now. Okay. Shh, shh, shh. Don't tell Sushi. Oh, that smells good. Alright. Sorry, guys, about the crisping. Those are peanuts. That's your caster man right here, trying to get a little bit of a snack going. That's just let's do this and then... There we go. Alright. Lovely stuff. Alright, so progression of this game. Liberators, Spore Crawlers, and a Lay Attack. I think that's about the gist of it. Also, I'm wondering if Vindixa will go get himself a larger amount of Hellions than that he has right now, or if he's going to switch these two buildings right now. Yes, he does. No armory yet, though, so I don't know if that's going to be the thing. Some sort of a big attack coming in with those Hellions, and then turning into Hellbents. Not quite the case just yet. And here we go. A little bit of a micro battle between the Liberator and the Spore Crawler, of course. As the Hellions and the Reaper looking to engage wherever the Queens are not. Oh my god, those Lings coming out of nowhere. Not quite getting the surround though. Vindixa was in time to shut that down. Or well, allow it not to be shut down, basically, right? This is just so annoying for Solid to deal with. Oh, there we have it. 2 armories coming up. More factories as well. Full on mech going to be coming into play right now. Vindixa rolling in with those Hellions into this natural base as well. A lot of drones already going down. Look at the carnage right here. 11 workers. But to be fair, that is at the cost of not just those Hellions, but those 2 Liberators too. The score of Eleza versus Estrella. I mean, if you really want it spoiled, and then listen to this, I'll tell it in 3, 2, 1. It was an insane series. It was absolutely crazy. It was a 5-4. We got all the way to game number 9. Estrella managed to eke it out into a victory. It was a very cool series. We had Matisse as well casting with me. And, of course, go check it out, guys. Matisse, a wonderful coach overall. If you want to learn StarCraft 2, that's a great guy to learn it from. Very insightful, with a lot of knowledge overall, and a very nice guy as well. Always fun to cast with him. If you want to check him out, you know, for your own overall coaching, check him out on Matisse Seyong on Twitter. That's Matisse with a M-A-T-I-Z. And then Seyong, like Seyong Station, basically. But yeah, man, oh man, it's definitely worth checking out, for sure. In this game, though, so far... Oh, a bit of a leak. We sprung a leak. Let's clean up all those links still, though. I mean, Vindixa got himself in a really good position, right? Still in the same amount of workers, which is not what you want to have happen as a Zerg. Vindixa getting that 4th base, 5th base on the way for Solier, so he's still kind of good on that department. He's getting himself the infestation pit as well. Oh, Vindixa not committing to this, and actually that's a good call. Seeing what is coming in from the other side here. Rotating around. Okay, going around the other way again. There is a good group of links, though, ready to jump on this. And that's some lovely use of positioning there. Also, Leah realizing what the attempt would be. And shuts down a lot of those Hellions. Hellions in a natural base too, though. Looking for more drones. And 13 of them do go down. 14, sorry. I stand corrected. I hope you guys are happy with the Laser Estrella spoilers. It is really cool to see, though, Estrella also bringing it to these EU Zerg players, right? I know Laser, I mean, he's a really, really strong Zerg player overall. A lot of people would make the case, well, he's not Serral or Raynor, right? Still probably a bit above him in the pecking order. But he's like top 5 Zergs in EU. I don't think anybody will disagree with that. And the overall skill rating of the EU Zergs, absolutely amazing, right? Everybody's always saying like the EU Zergs is where it's at. You gotta practice against EU Zergs because they know how it's done. And then for Estrella to come in and being able to do that much against something like him, absolutely amazing. But anyway, in this game over here, I'm really surprised with the amount of damage that Vindicta's continuously finding right now with those Hellion run-bys. Doing a very good job so far. Ghost as well now being mixed in. Unlucky Widowmine. I always love Ghost, especially in the mech matchup too. Or when you're going mech, right? Because like it's not just nukes that Vindicta is known for. It's mostly the snipes as well, right? If you have a good amount of Ghosts or a good amount of snipes, you're gonna be good against the Ultralisk or the Broodlords, right? Either or, you should be pretty prepped for it. You have some sort of an answer. As well as the Vipers too, actually, right? EMP on those Vipers can save your bacon in multiple ways. Okay, Vindicta actually coming in here, realizing that the timing for the Broodlords is still a little bit away, so you know what, on max supply right now on those Hellbats, the Cyclones, the Siege Tanks, and all that good jazz, looking to trade efficiently here. Oh dear lord. Here we go. Alright, coming in. Solea with a lot of Banelings, but I don't think it's enough quite yet here. Great splits from Vindicta, trading, you know what, quite a lot of his units, but still standing strong here. Dodging those Biles as well, and let's see how much damage he will be able to get done before the reinforcing units of Solea will be popping up on the fields. The Ultralisk are on the way as well. This base needs to fall here. Would be a lovely little bit of damage if Vindicta does manage to get it, and it should definitely fall right now. And there we go. Solea though already setting up another base over here in the bottom, well, in the middle right and the top left side. The top left side will get shut down though. And that is a big deal indeed. This is the hard side for Vindicta to push, right? The left side. The top left side, because he's expanding to the bottom right. Pushing above him over here is going to be a lot easier than it will be pushing over here. So, making the push on this side right now, before the army composition of Solea is switched into his favor. A very cool thing to see for Vindicta. Now, this is still a moment in time where things could snowball out of control here for Vindicta, of course. He did lose quite a bit of army right now. Doesn't have that many siege tanks. Doesn't have that much set up in the way, shape, or form of defensive units at the moment. That's a very scary army of Solea still. Making use of that Zerg quick remax right now. Oh, there we have some nukes on the way too. Okay, EMP's landing alright on those Vipers. Don't have that much energy right now, but this is still an insanity. Insane amount of Zerg overall. And the Vipers do get handled, but that Planetary Fortress definitely will go down. SCVs escaping to the bottom right side, but they will be found. No survivors, no prisoners for this Zerg. Okay, never mind. We do have some hide and seekers though for this Zerg. Another base does fall. There are two new freshly made command centers that can take their place, but still Vindicta taking a boatload of damage here. And that is rough to behold. Okay, Thor's coming into play now as well. Let's take a look at where these nukes are coming in. There we go. Let's set up a camera right there. And let's hope those nukes will be able to hit some good targets. Oh! This could be big. That's quite a lot of drone kills, actually. And an important part here is, of course, that, you know what, Solea might be able to get himself another Remax now, at least once. But this could be a lot of trouble if he needs to Remax another time. He's gonna have one really strong army now, it looks like. He's not really remaking those drones that he lost. And if he loses this army, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be GG right then and there. But he does have one absolutely terrifying army, though. And oh my dear lord, he's not going to attack with it right now. Okay, he's splitting off forces to try and deal with those Hellions and the Cyclones there. It's still quite a big portion of his force, though. I think that may be a little bit too many. Well, actually, not too many, but... Alright, here we go. Let's see whether or not Solea can be able to break Vindicta's back right now. It doesn't look like he will be able to. 3 siege tanks still shooting strong. The Cyclones, the Thors kiting backwards on that ramp. An absolutely abysmal place for those Ultralisks to try and take a fight. Repair is pretty darn strong onto those Thors as well. And it looks like we are having ourselves a cleanup for Vindicta. And GG from Solea. Vindicta, what a show. Wonderful nukes. Great Hellion harass. For a moment there, I definitely got scared, but it worked out nonetheless. Alright, let me do a quick little sponsored message, and we'll be right back with the next game, guys.
My name is Rushy, and thanks for watching our StarCraft 2 content brought to you by Alpha X. Productions like this are made possible by support from our sponsors, like G Fuel. G Fuel is the official drink of esports, and they want to encourage you to kick the can on other energy drinks that leave you drained out and out of juice when you need to make the big calls. Their dedication to keeping you fueled and in the game is only matched by their drive to support esports and the people who help make it possible. With over 20 unique flavors like bubblegum to choose from, they'll always deliver a great experience with each drink. Head out to our Matcherino page and check out their sponsor quests for more info on how to get your hands on G Fuel's clean and healthy alternative to sugar-loaded energy drinks. G Fuel, the official drink of esports. Thanks for supporting Alpha X, and thank you for considering checking out our awesome sponsors. Now, let's head back to the action.
I was still eating. Okay, what's up? If only it was 10 seconds longer. Oh well. Oh well. Let's see what map Solea wants to take this onto. Can be a tight one. He's going on Submarine. Interesting. Very interesting. I always feel like this one's a little bit Terran favored overall. Because it feels so small to me. But maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe I'm wrong on this. But then again, like, what other maps were still available? Everdream was still available, right? What else? Should be still a lot of maps. Everdream. Wow, I'm drawing a blank right now already. Interesting. Let me take a look. Death Aura was still a possibility. Isenchrome. Isenchrome could be a good one, right? Huh. Is that it? I think so, yeah, actually. Just 4 maps, right? Vindicta? Is Vindicta ready? Alright. For a moment there, I thought Vindicta was asking for a mana break. And he typoed man MB, right? He said MH. He said MH, and then I thought like, wait, did he typo MB to type mana break? Does he want to have a drink or something? Is that what's happening here? Is Vindicta being a little cheeky man with the way he says things? Alright, anyway. Let me do the introductions here. In the top left side, we have ourselves a Blue Zerg. Fighting from Spain. Fighting for the, well, the one and only, the Wizard Esports Club. He is Solir. I'm trying to do this with the keyboard. Because my right hand is filled up. Alright, yeah, let's not do that. Anyway, bottom right side, Red Terran. American, Mexican, Team Alpha X, Vindicta. All right. Have to excuse me sometimes for dropping silent and trying to have some food intake into my system now and again. I think I've been casting for about 4 hours now. 4 hours now, yeah. Still have this this best of 5, of course, and then afterwards a best of 7 between the victor of this match and, of course, the grandiose appearance of Acheron, managing to get himself into the finals quite convincingly, actually, versus Art, and I am quite impressed. Now, I don't know if Art is you know what, overall not in the greatest of shapes as he has been in the past. But you know what? It is still impressive. Especially because it's a what's the best of 5 that went 3-0. All those times my mother told me not to speak with my mouth full, she had no idea I was practicing for this. So you know what? To all the children out there listening, now you have an excuse. Oh, sorry. Now you have an excuse. Pronunciating is a little bit more difficult though with some peanuts floating around in your mouth. Man. Right, so what is happening here? What is happening here? Hellions and Banshees. Third base, couple of Lynx, Queens. Very standard stuff. There's a Baneling Nest already as well, actually. Did he just cancel something? What did he cancel? 37. Would that be a Roach Warren? It could be a Roach Warren, right? I don't know what he cancelled. Anyone know what he cancelled? What he was making there? Sport Crawler? Something like that? I don't know. I'm still trying to clear out all the peanuts from my teeth. Uh-oh. Wow, how does he do it? Honestly. I don't know if you guys ever played with Hellions, but man oh man. They die quickly against Lings. They die very quickly against Lings. And I don't know how these guys do it sometimes, but they wiggle those Hellions out of every single clutch situation almost. It's like, oh, well, they're surrounded. No, apparently not. Okay. I guess they found a way through anyway. Oh, wait, what? What? Thought that creep too when we go down in 100%, but I think that last shot didn't do damage because it went invisible. Is that a thing, actually? Do you not do damage anymore if your projectile is mid-air and then the unit becomes invisible? Felt that way, didn't it? Okay, Banshee's kind of just poking, trying to figure out where those queens are. Maybe find an opportunity for those Hellions to come in. Vindicta realizing, you know what, there's not that many Lings over here to really shut down my Hellions. I'm just going to come in here straight away. He will enter on the left side, so he does still have an escape. It becomes harder for him to clean up those drones as well. Of course, nice wiggling in between the gas geyser and the dead space there as well. We'll clean up those queens overall. Would love to see this queen go down as well. Oh my dear lord, that was close. Vindicta just knew that perfectly, apparently. Oh, and does get a couple of drones now. 4 of them in total. It's not like fantastic, of course, overall. But he did clean up a lot of those Lings too, right? And that is something worthwhile as well. For 3 queens and 24 Lings, that means there's less creep spread. That means there's less drones overall, because you're gonna have to replenish those Lings here. Otherwise, you might just die to some sort of a follow-up attack, which is in the making here for Vindicta. Uh-oh. Queen's completely out of position here. And Siege Tank's fully utilizing this positioning right now on this little tiny ramp, and this seems like a lot of trouble. Baneling speed is about to finish up though, but there's only 3 Banelings. One single good shot of a Siege Tank could get rid of all those Banelings immediately. And there we go, that's 1 already down. Target firing immediately occurring here for Vindicta, and that base, no chance in hell that is going to stay alive here. Lings running across the map as well, trying to get some sort of damage going right there. Vindicta picks up his units, will be able to kind of mitigate the amount of damage here, sends his SCVs elsewhere. Now with a Siege Tank in position as well, should be able to hold the ground fairly easily. Moves backwards as we have a lot of Lings and a lot of Banelings being created here for Solea. Trying to stop the bleeding, trying to crush this offensive, but you know what, we may see Vindicta just moving backwards and Solea having a lot of Lings instead of drones here to kind of recuperate from that economic damage that he took. But you know what, nope. Never mind, it's a good thing he did make those units, because Vindicta right now starting to send across everything. We'll be looking for some more damage here. Perhaps a killing blow that could occur here fairly soon. Oh dear, that Siege Tank. What are you doing, Siege Tank? Oh, I'm loving this position though. Oh my dear lord. Okay, gets the cancel on that base. I'm a bit worried about this this one Banshee that is so low on the HP bar, but man, look at these Siege Tanks and their positioning. That is absolutely wonderful. This is going to be so incredibly difficult for Solea to trade efficiently against. And he's trying, man. He's desperately trying, but again, it's another base that he's going to have to give up. At the same time, though, will get a good amount of Lings into the main base here, but the SCV hold position very strong, closes the door. We'll get a Siege Tank, but in the end, I mean, what's a Siege Tank when you lost a base? That is not that efficient in the trading. And Vindicta, what is his plan right here? Is he going to try to just do some sort of a continuous push here? Yes, he is. Will be through the natural base, it looks like. For a moment, I thought he might try to start dropping into the main base, but here we go. Was this an overextension for Vindicta? I don't think it was. He might still lose everything here, but in the end, that seems okay because he killed off so many bases, and he still traded efficiently there as well, right? It's not like he just got overwhelmed immediately. He killed off all the banelings, killed off a good amount of zerglings, and killed off a couple of queens again as well. Now he can just regroup with the rest of his forces, and it looks like slowly but surely Vindicta is just strangling Solaire here into a slow, miserable death. It's almost like we're seeing Vindicta holding Solaire's head under the water line, trying to drown him slowly but surely. Solaire, yeah, sure, yes. Yeah, some capacity of oxygen still in his lungs left, but there's only so much you can do for so long that you can hold your breath. And, you know, I'm getting perhaps a little bit of a snicker of health there, well, a snicker of oxygen, but, I mean, Vindicta is still very quick, immediately pushing him back down again, and I think we may be approaching a GG very quickly here. Those 3 siege tanks staying alive, that was absolutely detrimental here. Having killed those off, this probably looks entirely differently. But unfortunately for Solaire, they did not die, and they're still shooting strong. Still gaining a lot of value. And with the splits here for Vindicta, I cannot say that this will go into Solaire's overall favor. GG is called. Vindicta takes another victory here. 3-1 will be the score ultimately. And we're going into a best of 7 between Vindicta and Acheron in the final match here of today. Starting it off on the American servers, of course. Let's see. I think it was, yeah. Okay. Alright, switching over. I'm going to be making the decision on what map I'm going to put these two Terrans on. Doesn't matter as much anymore, I suppose, because it is a mirror matchup. So that's going to be fun. I'll be right back, though, guys, with, you know what, some more peanuts in my mouth. And a new match started, ready for casting. Alright, see you in a little bit.
You can visit the Matcherino page for our event and contribute in many different ways. 1. Free coupon. Click Contribute, enter the specified coupon code to contribute a predetermined amount of money to the prize pool. 2. Free sponsor quests. On the right side of the screen are various actions supported by sponsors, including retweets, Twitter follows, surveys, among other things. Click into these boxes to complete the action and add the attached prize contribution to the pool free of charge. 3. Marketplace. Products are available in our marketplace, which also contribute to the fundraising pool. Be sure to check out the variety of apparel and collectibles, as well as other unique items. 4. Donate. Clicking on the Contribute button, you're able to add funds to your Matcherino wallet and then directly contribute them to the fundraiser page. Thanks for supporting your event with Matcherino.
Hello, hello! What is up? What is up? We have arrived at the grandiose finals right now. Vindicta making that series pretty darn tight there in the end, being able to beat off Solaire after losing the first game, but winning 3 games in a row afterwards. It's very straight. Nice place there for Vindicta. Solia, though, no slouch himself either. Really bringing a couple of lovely games there. Some great efforts. And really giving us some lovely, lovely TVC. You know what, very much back and forth. Especially, I'd say, the third game there. A lot of fun. Alright, Vindicta is here. Let's see. Let's see if Acheron is ready as well. And once more, we have Team Rotti versus Alpha X. Seems to be a common occurrence. Alright. At least on this stream. Right now. 2 in 1 stream. Alright. One of them is the same guy from Team Rotti, though, of course. But anyway. Let's see what will be occurring in this one. TVT, some would say the best mirror matchup that is available. Some might even prefer it over watching some of the non-mirrored matchups. Probably Terrence, but you know what? Overall, some wonderful stuff. Some wonderful stuff. Here we go, guys. Game number 1. I picked a nice and big map over here. Ice and Chrome. In the hopes that we would get ourselves a wonderful, big, massive macro game. But, well, let it be in the hands of these two players right here in the bottom left side. Beating Art 3-0. Absolutely amazing play so far from this green Terran from Team Rotti and Spain. He is Acheron. Top right side, there he is, the red Terran player from Alpha X, the American-Mexican Vindicta. Alright, TVT so far looks pretty done regular, except for no second guess for Acheron. We're still standard, of course, a bit of a rock, paper, scissors. Oh wait, no, there is the second guess. Actually, there's no second guess for Vindicta. Interesting. I was expecting that a little bit earlier. Acheron going for the gas first. So expecting him to do a quicker expand. And instead still grabbing that second gas. Vindicta, though, being particularly greedy right now. I think he still went with a barracks first and a single gas. So that could cause some problems later on. We'll have to wait and see if that will be the case, though, of course. Overall, you won't have that many units if you open up like Vindicta is doing right now. Now, I guess the size of the map is helping out with that overall occurrence here, right? Takes a long time for units to get across the map here, so maybe Vindicta has the time to squeeze out those Hellions at some later point in time. Very quick starport, though, by Acheron. Looks like it might be a Hellion drop right here. Getting himself into the main base there could be rather useful, since there is only a bunker at the front door, of course. If he does get those Hellions and the Reapers somewhere in the main base, could be rather large. Still gonna take a while before Vindicta really has any Hellions of his own. And in he comes. He actually waited a little bit longer than I thought he would. He does have three Hellions right now. the 4 Reapers, but actually Vindicta having more Reaper or more Hellions here, ready on the ramp as well. Very unfortunate for Acheron. Does get completely shut down there. All his Reapers do fall. And Vindicta proves that he made the right choice with the greedy opening here. 4 Hellions though still in that medevac, might be able to squeeze on by, but that's a Viking. He got spotted by the Reaper. Everything kind of here falling apart for Acheron at the start of this, and now it's a little bit of a coin flip now and again with this type of matchup, right? It's the TVTs, but that is definitely very unfortunate. Nice positioning though for Vindicta, of course, does facilitate that he, even though the coin flipped on his side, he still is able to say that it was his side of the coin or something like that. I don't know how it works anymore with a coin flip if you put skill in between that. I guess Vindicta is the circus artist that has the coin, and he has like a coin that has like the same thing on both sides. I don't know, something like that. Who cares? Who cares? Okay, 3rd base here on the way for Vindicta already, as the 2nd base only now for Acheron, transforming itself into an orbital. Definitely falling behind here a little bit. Getting a 2nd Raven is... both these players actually. My dear lord. Yeah, now finding that Viking as well. This is becoming rather painful here for Acheron, honestly. Every single attempt he's made so far completely, absolutely shut down here by Vindicta. But you know what, to be fair, Vindicta here as well. Looks like he will be shut down rather harshly. Kills off 1 SCV, maybe a mule as well, but that's about it for those Hellions. He gets the scout too, that is worth something as well, but oh well. For Barracks here, fully going for the bio play is Vindicta. On the other side, I'm not completely convinced yet for what Acheron is doing. We do have a, you know, still a Barracks on the Tech Lab right now, but that could still be switched around, of course, for another factory. No stim, no upgrades, nothing of the sorts quite yet for Acheron. He only has 1 gas though in the naturals, so that could be an indicator that he doesn't want to go mech, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. A good scouting force here for Acheron. We'll be able to see that Vindicta's moving out here with these forces. Can't say for sure though if this is going to be aggressive or if this is going to be just for the 3rd base, acquiring the 3rd base. Will not attempt the move through though with those Hellions. It's probably a good idea. 2 siege tanks waiting for him. Another one over here, of course, in the natural base, together with that bunker still being up. Vindicta scans, sees the timing of that 3rd base. Must be feeling pretty darn comfortable here so far. Very, very nice situation you find yourself in when you're not only quicker on the natural, but you're quicker on the 3rd base as well. Just to keep that momentum going, you should be able to really snowball that economic advantage into an insane amount. And Acheron, realizing that this is occurring here, wants to try and ramp up the aggression, moving across the map right now with a lot of siege tanks. 4 siege tanks in total, and there's definitely an opportunity for him here to position, whereas it's going to be difficult for Vindicta's siege tanks to make the maneuvers they need to shut something like this down. At the same time, we still have those Hellions and the Reapers on the other side, so if Vindicta does overcommit to one of these places, that could very well be the end of him. Alright, here we go. Acheron already sieged up. That, you know what, that 4th base might need to get cancelled. It does get cancelled. But like we already said, there's definitely still an opportunity here for Acheron to get himself in a wonderful position. Vindicta though, okay, does get disabled on that siege tank right there. Oh, the Marines getting so much damage right there from the siege tanks. The disable's not quite there in time. Need to target down the siege tanks before absolute horror commences. And you know what, actually gets the other 2 siege tanks there as well. I'd say that's pretty darn reasonable for Vindicta here. With his reinforcements being this close by, should be capable of beating this backwards here. Pulls the SCVs as well. I'm not completely sure if he had to, but will really clean this up now because of this, of course. Okay, still ahead on the worker count. The army count a little bit similar. I guess that did stop Vindicta's momentum though, overall, right? Oh, but he does have +1/+1/+1. Acheron only now starting that +1/+1. Vindicta's armory is a little bit late though, so he's not going to be able to keep that upgrade advantage continuously, non-stop throughout this series, or throughout the match, I suppose. The series would be very impressive, of course. Imagine that if upgrades carried on through to the next match in the series. That'd be pretty crazy. That'd be pretty crazy. Alright, in he comes. Looking to do a little bit of the same as what happened to him on the other side of the map here. His base is in an awkward position. The siege tanks for Vindicta will be able to shoot at this, of course. There we go. Cleans up one of those siege tanks, but you know what? Acheron's fourth base already lifting up right now. Ready to go up into the sky. Vindicta, a big stim there actually. Needs to be careful still. Just doesn't want this fourth base to be established somewhere. Wants it to not be mining up until the moment in time. At least when he's already mining, right? Get the advantage that way. Starting his +2/+2 now as well. Acheron is armory as well a little bit late here, so he's not going to be able to start his +2/+2 immediately upon finishing +1/+1. Oh, big drop here for Acheron. Will find these siege tanks completely alone, separated from the rest of the group. Nice pick off there. Cleans up the Liberator 2 with the Vikings, I do believe. And Vindicta, once again, you know what? In a pretty good position here, I would say. Look at that fourth base, already mining. Looking for a moment that it could go into the favor for Acheron there, but Vindicta brings it back rather quickly here. Making it difficult for Acheron to keep expanding. Or well, get that expansion to the location where he wants them to be. Where did those SCVs die? Interesting. I'm not completely sure. Anyway, let's look at the units lost tab. Overall, slightly in favor for Acheron, so it's a good thing that Vindicta is ahead in the economy. Needs to help himself out with that sense. He's allowed to trade a little bit less efficiently by forcing that fourth base up in the air continuously, not in a good position. Will now finally look like he's gonna get this in the right location. Vindicta though as well with 3 medevacs right now on the bottom side. There is 3 Vikings as well waiting, but at the same time he has +2/+2 right now. Only now started up for Mr. Acheron. This could be pretty darn massive. The siege tanks for Vindicta as well in a good position. Oh, well, except for those 2, of course. Needs to pick up the medevacs as well, boosted past the Vikings here. Is it still enough though? It looks like it might be. Man, oh man, Vindicta letting these upgrades speak for themselves. Finding a lovely opportunity here now in the main base of Acheron. Taking everything apart. He's even going to have 3/3 finish up as Acheron's +2/+2 is finishing up. So that's, well, I don't need to tell you guys. You StarCraft 2 maniacs, you already know that's pretty darn large of an advantage. And as you can see, Vindicta really making it work for himself. Drop trying for Acheron here to shut down these siege tanks finally. But again, I mean, the upgrade's doing pretty darn good here. Nice targeting, but you know what? Alright. Even with those upgrades in the bank, you still can't beat an army that is twice your size, unfortunately. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. If only. You could just spam out upgrades. How about that? That would be so nice. The game would be so much easier. Alright. Liberator range as well for Vindicta on the way. I mean, we've already saw him in the TVZ matchup. Really likes to use those Liberators as an harassment tool. And I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do that again in this series right now. Making 5 Liberators at the same time. Very likely that he will try to use them for his army as well, right? Accompany his army, push those siege tanks out of position. That's very important to do. He did claim overall air dominance right now. Has the superior Viking count. Grabbing himself a lovely bit of land here. Some prime real estate for those siege tanks right now. And the Liberators making this even harder for Acheron right here to stay afloat. Back onto the 3 bases. A lot of Marines coming in again from the main base. But Acheron right now, he needs to be scratching his head. Wondering, can I still make this work? I need to clean up this army. Or I need to do something here. Because the longer the time keeps ticking now, Vindicta will be running away with this game. And it looks like what he is doing. Sending a big ball of Marines across the map here. That would be one way to try and mitigate what Vindicta is doing here. Nice scan for Vindicta though. I believe that was Vindicta's. Yeah, it is.
Mineral cluster.
Alright, seeing the attack coming in here. We'll have those siege tanks in siege mode in time. That is massive for siege tanks. That's a whole boatload of damage. And now he realizes there's not much there anymore for, of course, Acheron. On the other side, does still have a ton of siege tank though, so we'll not be able to shut this down immediately then end the game right here, right now. But, man, oh man. Acheron, I would be surprised if he does manage to pull this back though. I would be thoroughly impressed. And continuously when I when I see somebody in a sour situation in TVT, I would tell everybody, well, I remember this one game from Acheron versus Vindicta. It looked like he had no chance in hell that anything could ever go in his favor anymore. And yeah, he managed to pull on through, and right now we are seeing a little bit of that in the making here. Though he needs to do so much more, of course. Needs to have so many more favorable fights. And already, man, he's losing actually overall in the... oh god. Oh god. Oh, he just picked up. He just picked up, and this is the perfect opportunity for Vindicta to just stim right underneath everything here. GG is called. Acheron trying to do a little bit of a cheeky play there, picking everything up for a doom drop, I believe, but well, that is the that is the nature of a doom drop. Either your opponent or you yourself will be doomed, of course. Go away, Miss Maturino. We all love you. We all love you, dear Maturino, Miss, but sometimes your input is unwanted, and that is one of these moments right here. So, Vindicta takes game number 1. We're going to be moving to the European server. And, yeah. Let's see if we will be able to get a good, solid game number 2. Map choice for Acheron. Everdream. Everdream. Alright. Melee. Everdream. There we go. Right, love it when people join automatically. Always nice, don't have to bother with the invites there. Alright, Everdream will be our second battleground right here. Let's see if these players are ready. Acheron is ready. Vindicta is ready too. Alright. I think. He's ready too. Alright, off we go, guys. Game number 2. In the best of 7. First 1 to 4 victories will, of course, be the champion of tonight here. Vindicta already 1 on the boards. Looking pretty solid there. But then again, that was all off the back of having a wonderful opening against his opponent, right? I don't think there was a single moment in time where Acheron was actually on equal footing with Vindicta because of the way they both opened up. And that's just always very unfortunate when stuff like that happens, but It's kind of the nature of the game. Anyway, here we go. Let's see what he will have in store for us this time around. The green Terran player from Spain. Yes, Team Rotis, Acheron. In the top right side of the map, we have ourselves a red Terran player fighting for Alpha X, the American Mexican. He is Vindicta. Alright. Lovely. Let me try not to throw all the peanuts on the ground. So both these players this time around opting to go for the double gas opening. Of course, this map a whole lot closer proximity-wise, I would say. Doesn't take as long to walk across the map. Don't get me wrong, it's still a pretty darn big map, but I would say the walk distance for Ice and Chrome just a little bit bigger still. So a bit rougher to try and get away with something like the one gas opening on the map like this. Of these players going for very, very standard openings here. Double Reapers. Might even go up to 3. Get themselves some Hellions here. Both of them, well, actually Vindicta a little bit more on top of the scouting. Was expecting a Proxy 2 Rex, perhaps. Acheron setting up shop with that command center now because of this a little bit earlier, I would say. A small advantage, nothing game ending, of course. Hold up, I just realized somebody was spamming me in Discord. That's funny. I'm sorry. Alright. Acheron coming on the right side. In the left side we have Vindicta going on the offensive as well. It's always awkward when this happens, right? Always kind of makes you sit there and just be like, okay, alright, here we go. There's no wall of though for Acheron. This could be pretty bad. Okay, well, never mind. It could still be blown up. There we go. Okay, this could be bad. This could be slightly worse for Acheron than it is for Vindicta. He's trying to get that that little Cyclone boy there. Does not want it to be repaired at all whatsoever. Oi, 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 oi. Oh, it's gonna stay alive. It will stay alive. And Vindicta takes the worst end of the stick right there. Losing 2 more workers overall. That's rough. Also, of course, that second base of his was later. Didn't get finished up. And, I mean, Acheron already has an orbital command center. I don't know. Didn't feel like that was such a difference in between the build timings for these things. Oh my god, he might lose this Cyclone as well. A brilliant nade of the Reaper there. Being able to keep the repair from actually repairing. And Vindicta takes more worker losses. Acheron there definitely being able to take a wonderful trade overall. Alright. Banshees are on the field, but I mean, what are you going to do against a Raven with 6 Marines underneath and a Cyclone as well on the map? I suppose the Cyclone is kind of Oh wait, no, there's the second Cyclone. Abandoning his post, perhaps, but also if he finds a random Banshee flying over there, that would be absolutely lovely, of course. He knows they're on the field, so it should be good. And, I mean, there's not even a cloak available here for Vindicta. 10 workers behind. This is going to be a rough one, I guess. Acheron is going for a third base here. Third base for Vindicta, for a little bit ahead overall. But, I mean, let's not call it yet, guys, but definitely a very strong advantage here for Acheron. Even more so now after killing that Banshee right there with the Cyclone. Looks like he may be pushing across the map. No, never mind. Okay, we'll just set up defensively. Alright, so what do you do as Vindicta in this moment in time? I mean, either you just sit here, try to get max, try to play super defensively, or, and this is the fun part, you start moving across the map with most of everything, give up on going macro, stop making SCVs, which he's not doing, so it's probably not this, and just go for the balls to the walls, everything on the offensive strategy. Looks like Vindicta is attempting to just play it on the catch-up side of things here. Just gonna do some edge catch-up. Try to collect all 200 max supply on his StarCraft decks. I mean, he does have the 3 base, to be fair, but ay. That's a reasonable army, I suppose, after, like... Alright, so this is the thing. Acheron is gonna have a much stronger army here, right? Already we can clearly see this reflected in the army supply. 43 versus 24. Acheron in a demanding position in this field. But, I mean, if he does take one absolutely abysmal fight, whether that be overcommitting onto siege tanks when he didn't think... you know what, there were as many siege tanks, right? Just kind of a field of siege tanks where it keeps going in. Or maybe, you know what, he just kind of loses track of his units for 1 second and stands into siege tank fire for like 1 or 2 volleys. That on its own could, you know what, be the catalyst to potential Vindicta comeback occurring here. But I mean, something like that needs to occur, though. It could also be that Vindicta manages to get a big drop going or anything of the sorts. We're seeing Vindicta going into the mech play, which is, I would say, a great call overall. Because if you do play with the same composition as your opponents, that's just going to be, you know what, also just a quick way to die when your opponent is already ahead. At least this way you can perhaps find yourself with the advantage that your unit composition is giving you some way to make a comeback happen, right? Okay, lovely little spotting supply depot right there. NG8 at all. What's up? Who won a Laser or Estrella? Man, why everybody's asking who won a Laser versus Estrella? Honestly, I do believe that you guys should just watch that series because it was an amazing series. It was a ton of fun casting with you know who, Matisse. There we go. Came back to me. It was a great show, but if you really want to know, I will tell you in 1, 2, 3. Close your ears if you don't want to know. All right, 1, 2, 3. It was Estrella. He managed to beat him. He managed to beat him 5-4. We went all the way to the 9th game. It was absolutely bananas. It was crazy. A wonderful show. Go watch it, honestly. Alright, Vindicta here in a little bit of trouble. Really, the stuck against the siege tank positioning of Acheron. Although he's not really getting the greatest of locations so far, right? Vindicta still with a lot more siege tanks available, but doesn't have the air fights here. And the Liberators are now gonna really come into play. We'll be already picking off one of those siege tanks. And Acheron should be able to just shut this down very quickly. Oh dear Lord, Vindicta going for the snipe on it though. That's nice. That is a great maneuver there for Vindicta actually. We'll be able to kill off some of these siege tanks as well. Okay, not that. Oh man, these Vikings here on top of the starport production of Vindicta. Honestly, you might want to even consider making a single Thor here to force these Vikings backwards. Vindicta actually gonna commit to killing off these siege tanks. There's not that many of them, so maybe able to just make this work, and yes, he does. But then again, I mean, once more, Liberator versus Siege Tank. That is never something that goes into the favor of the Siege Tank for some reason. It's like a stone versus a piece of paper. A stone just doesn't know what to do. He really doesn't. He's like, you know what, I know what to do against scissors, right? Just give me a pair of scissors to deal with. But a piece of paper, I have no idea what to do. That's what we're seeing right now. 2 more Vikings. Cyclones as well. Could be a good way to try and deal with these Vikings, but honestly, Acheron right now coming in here as well on the right side. Once more, will be able to get himself on top of the mineral line here, I believe. And 2 Siege Tank in a position like this, that is going to be absolutely abysmal. Vindicta's going to have to send so much into the meat grinder here to clean this up. And GG it's called. Acheron riding his advantage very nicely into a place of victory. And ties up the series. Ties it up once more. 1-1 here. Looking pretty darn solid. Right. Switching over to the other side of things again. Right. Somebody's asking me where he can find the stream. What would be the quickest way to get a link to the stream? Let me see. Alright. Let's wait for the next map to be picked. I'm gonna run a quick commercial here, guys. It's from Matcherino. We have a Matcherino for this one as well, so for this this tournament right here. Go check it out. Awesome stuff.
My name is Rushy, and this is a 1-minute tutorial on how to create your own Matcherino quests for your online events. Let's get started. Go to Matcherino.com and click the sign in button in the top right. You'll need to link an account to begin. I use my Twitch account because it's the most convenient for me, but you can choose which one works best for you. Once you log in, click your username in the top right and select Profile. Along the left side will be a place to select Sponsor Quests, and you've arrived. Click the Add button and give this quest a clear title and a sleek image. Your quest can be attached to all games, but one option to better reach your audience is to limit your quest to games that fit your specific community. You can also target specific audiences by whitelisting specific countries, or by blacklisting specific countries so they can't see your quests. You can also set specific actions that your quests require, such as website clicks or Twitter follow. Doing all of this will get you great looking buttons that your fans can interact with on your Matcherino pages. Use the Analytics tab to see how your quests are doing and what works best for your community. Every click counts. I hope this video helped you start your Matcherino quest. Thanks for supporting Matcherino. Now, let's get back to the action.
Alright, here we go. Game number 3 on the way already. Acheron and Vindicta, the 2 finalists of tonight. Let's see what they will bring to the table in, you know what, almost the halfway mark. Not quite there yet, right? The halfway mark would be after this match ends, and then halfway before starting the next one. That's the halfway mark. Not before then, not after then. No, sir, we're not having any of that nonsense. Alright, here we go. Here we go. In the top left side of the map, we have a red Terran player fighting for Alpha X. He is the Mexican. He is Vindicta. He's feeling pretty darn fine today, and his opponent in the bottom right side from Team Rotti, the green Terran player from Spain. Give it up for Acheron. What a man. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a man. What a StarCraft 2 man. Love that song. Alright, Acheron going for the double Rex actually, and the double gas here. Interesting. Sometimes you see the single gas into the double Rex so you can... Oh wait, no, actually it's just a one Rex, sorry. Sorry guys, I'm so used to the Rex being here, I was like, well, what? It must mean that he's he's double Rexing. It's not the case. It's not the case entirely. It's just a single Rex. Just wants to, you know what, make Vindicta scratch his head if he does send an SCV across. Make Vindicta believe that there is a proxy Rex, or maybe even a proxy 2 Rex somewhere near his home. And send him into a spiraling flock of chaos and overall ultimate, how would you call this, panic. Just wow, he's even putting his factory here. That's some commitment right there. That's some real commitment to the mind games. Vindicta's gonna be coming in with his Reaper here, and he's gonna just think like, alright, well, I guess he never made any structures. He never made anything, did he? It's gonna be the easiest money I've ever made. Meanwhile, Acheron is just sitting here in the little corner. Imagine being so committed to the to this mind game where you know what, you're just stacking up units right now, and then the overall Vindicta just comes in with 2 Reapers, kills all your SCVs. You're just sitting, not yet, it's not yet. You're you're still gonna be confused. The fun you can have with StarCraft 2. Of course, we'd never see anything of that sort, because people, you know, on this level in particular, not really that ill-witted. Although, to be fair, you would need somebody on this level in a way to have that idea of brain gaming somebody. Well, maybe not actually on this level in particular, but you know what I mean. Alright, 2 Hellions and 2 Reapers actually hold position there, working in favor for Vindicta for a moment there. Getting 2 extra shots on that Hellion, but I mean, the numbers, they don't lie. Making it difficult for Vindicta really to make anything happen here. Nice Widowmine placement though, actually. I like that. If Acheron ever tries to run by with a couple of Hellions in the early game, or even the Reapers, of course, Cyclone, whatever it may be, he will be ready for that one. Get some initial damage right there. I just hope it's not a mistake, you know. Alright, Vindicta going once more for the mech play here. Also, what is up? It's Spain. It's Spain. Or it's... oh wait, it is Pain. I see. For a moment I thought that you were a Spanish fan for Acheron, as after all he is from Spain, so... I thought you were just from Spain and you just mentioned that you were from Spain, but it's Pain. What's up, Pain? Alright. Siege tank here on the way, as well as a Raven. Standard stuff, still making those Marines, I see. As the non-mech player. We'll have to wait and see if that is going to continue onwards, of course. That is nice to hear, Pain. Thank you. Thank you for that. Also the real Dennis, of course, also here. Oh. Oh. Vindicta a little bit out of pursuit. Nice targeting down that Cyclone, actually. Holy moly. We'll be able to take this fight now. Very nice stuff overall. Comes in with these 2 Reapers as well on the other side. We'll be able to pick off 2 SCVs. They're nice. A lot of them mining here, right? A lot of those workers not really mining at all. And looking at the overall trade efficiency here, a lot more resources lost for Acheron overall compared to Vindicta. And Vindicta, behind this, of course, really starting to mech it up right now. Kind of a little bit reminiscent of people such as Innovation and Cure right now here for Vindicta. Going for a lot of Cyclones after having the Pew Pew missile upgrades. What they're called again, the accelerating, I don't know, the thing, I always forget this upgrade's name. I don't know what it is. I guess I'm just not that interested in the name of the upgrade, alright? I'll admit it. I know it's something with acceleration, that's what I do know. You believe in me, thank you, Dennis. Alright. Right. With all the distractions happening at the same time. I love it. Alright, anyway. So, third bases on the way here for both players. The thing about... Let's talk a little bit of the overall interaction of bio versus mech. What it used to be was that the mech player would continuously be completely stuck kind of in one certain location, right? You would commit to a location, and then that's kind of where you would put your foot in the ground, and you would try to have the fight then and there with your overall superior army composition. The more efficient army that in trading, right? Now that kind of has been put up its own head in a way because of what Innovation has been doing with the TVT matchup. Making a lot of Cyclones and sometimes a couple of Hellions as well, but mostly the Cyclones, and being able to keep those... keep that mobility going, even though you are playing mech, still being able to come in from weird angles, coming in to shut down bases and stuff like this, like we just saw from Vindicta, right? Coming in here, taking down a siege tank, killing off a couple of those marines, maybe not completely trading super efficiently because he did lose the 3 Cyclones, but you know what? Overall, you can kind of see how that should operate. Now, Vindicta, he is not making that many more Cyclones here. If he were to truly go across the board all innovation on us, as they would say, we would be seeing more and more Cyclones just continuously on the production tab. Look at that, finding a couple of the units moving out, attempting a little bit of an attack here is Acheron, I suppose. Doesn't look like he's trying to just secure this base. That would make no sense without a base already floating over. And Vindicta realizing that he's now stuck on that right side of the map, sending a couple of Hellions on the left side over here. Very nice maneuvering overall, scanning to make sure that they are still there, and they are. Blue Flame is not quite ready. That would make this absolutely devastating, but just having these 3 Hellions over here, it's not bad, it's not great, but you know what, just overall, it's a fun little thing, you know? It's a fun little thing. 5 workers go down into the gutter, and puts Vindicta ahead, economically speaking. Now, I'm trying to remember. I have a feeling like I mentioned that Vindicta was behind overall in this game at the start of things, but I don't really think that was the case, was it? They went pretty darn equal continuously, and I think we're kind of seeing that now. Neither of these players still really having a dominating lead in any which way or fashion. Except for perhaps just in overall firepower, of course, which is the nature of mech versus bio, right? The firepower of Vindicta a lot higher, but the mobility for Acheron a lot higher for him. More workers do go down, 6 more workers right here. Again, for just the price of 3 of those Hellions. They won't be that amazing overall in the late game fight, so you know what, as you're kind of just dumping those minerals into these Hellions, as you need mostly gas for your siege tanks and your other heavy mech units, you might as well make use of them in this way. And I'm loving the way that Vindicta's doing this, honestly. Here we go, 4 more Hellions. These ones not really finding as much though. Will be shut down by the bio forces already, anticipating something like this to be very likely. As the army of Acheron on the left side here moving out does get spotted in that sensor tower. I think that sensor tower just finished up right now. A little bit of an unfortunate moment in time for Acheron, as he just had his units there, allowing Vindicta to spot this army as it is moving in transition here. Immediate scan kind of showcasing what is around that area right there. Hellions again running for the run by. As Acheron is now a little bit getting a little bit aggressive here. I'm not completely convinced that this is the right call, but you know what? Those interference matrices though may change my mind. Siege tanks, the rest of them do come into a position here. And I would love to see some more Liberators. Okay, there they are. There's the Liberators. We'll be able to shut this down here. Acheron will need to move backwards. Still gets a clean shot on that one siege tank. Shuts those down. Might even be able to pick off all these Ravens right now. I mean, there's not that many Marines here. You may as well do it. I think that's definitely worth it. Those Ravens, the one way for Acheron really to deal with the high number of siege tanks of Vindicta in a straight-up fight. I think, again, as well, we've seen this from Kjør a whole bunch of times. We are just going for a bunch of Ravens afterwards, after a little while, and being able to really do a boatload of damage that way against the mech army that is so heavily emphasized upon the siege tank numbers. Here we have Liberators coming in for Vindicta, doing some lovely damage at the same time. Moving in on the left side here, having the siege tanks in a great position, will put this planetary fortress to sleep. As the Liberator and the Hellions over there as well. Slapping those SCVs down. And Acheron, I'm not completely sure yet if he is setting up a flank here or if he's just going to attempt to go for a massive run-by. I think it may be the run-by. He does still have those 3 Ravens fully filled up with energy. But there's still a good amount of siege tanks here as well. Still remaining 2 more siege tanks just finished up here. As, you know what, Acheron, it looks like he realizes that, you know what, probably not going to have the greatest engagements on the other side of the map. Decides to look for an opportunity here to clean up the siege tanks of Vindicta on this side of the map. Liberators continuously pushing those siege tanks further backwards, allowing Vindicta to take a better and better location, but a lot of them unsieged right now, and that is allowing Acheron to take this fight, coming in from all angles, shutting everything down. It's not all in this game though, of course, that has been said and done. Vindicta dealt a boatload of economic damage there. Acheron has an incredibly scary army, but one bad trade over here now in the favor of Vindicta could cost Acheron the game and put Vindicta back in the lead once more. Alright, here we go. 60 workers. He is replenishing those workers, and he does have that 4th base over here as well. The Hellions trying their best to stop mining here from occurring, but man, oh man, oh my dear lord, there's some massive connections right there for Vindicta. Oh god, the Vikings now coming in as well at the wrong time for Acheron, shutting down those heavy filled up medevacs, but oh my dear lord, there might not be enough siege tanks here. The Vikings landing, just barely being able to save that final siege tank there, and it looks like Vindicta holds on. It wasn't the cleanest of fights, but definitely one that went into his favor overall, considering what the rest of this game was looking like. Acheron right now sending his main base towards a 3rd, attempting to just get some more money into the bank right now. He is a little bit desperate. Will lose another base here, as his reinforcements is going to be so much weaker than that of Vindicta. Oi, 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 oi. Shuts down another base. SCVs do escape, some of them to the top right. It's only 6 of them, but that could still be helpful in some later part of this game, as we don't have that many for Acheron. That is still about 10% of what Acheron has in total in SCV numbers. Okay, a lot of medevacs on the backside here, trying to set up a flank, as the Vikings are busy trying to kill off a command center here. A little bit out of position, not shooting down the medevacs, and it looks like once more the siege tanks do get cleaned up on this side of the map. But again, once more, at the cost of well, a lot of SCVs for Acheron. And the army count back into Vindicta's favor, actually. Yeah, the reinforcements now, really that high economy paying dividends for Vindicta. The continuous Hellion run-bys, the shutdown of bases. Absolutely wonderfully done here by Vindicta. Coming in for the killing blow, I would say. A little bit desynchronized though with the rest of his forces, so losing a lot of his Liberators here for no specific reason. And losing a lot of siege tanks, actually. But it does still get cleaned up right here. Okay, Vindicta. 100 supply ahead right here. 75 army supply versus 27. This game should end any moment now. Honestly, Acheron, he's still taking some small fights here, some small victories, but when you take a look at the entirety of the game, I mean, Vindicta, 1, 2, 3, 4 bases right here, taking a 5th versus the, well, basically 1, 2.5 base mining for Acheron, or maybe not even that, maybe it's just 2 bases. I guess he's still long distance mining here from the gas, but yeah, so Vindicta, he has done it. Will be able to take a 2-1 victory here. Acheron just kind of digesting his loss, I suppose. We can take a look on his vision as well, but I mean, he's pretty certain he will GG right here, right now. There it is, GG. He didn't know about those 2 extra bases. Alright, moving back to the European server. Vindicta managing to claim a victory on his home turf there on the American servers. And let's see if that will be the case again here in the next one. On the European server. Going into Acheron's favor, of course. Although it didn't happen at the first 2 games. We'll have to wait and see. Alright, Acheron map choice. Let's see what he goes for. Peanuts. All of StarCraft 2 is Vindicta's home turf. That's right. Here's one of those players that just goes and plays on whatever server, isn't he? Alright. Looking forward to the next game right now. Both players are ready, actually. I hope he is. He joined the game. He should be ready, right? Ah, he's 1 game ahead. Here we go. Here we go. Game number 7. No. Best of 7. Game number 3. No, wait. Game number 4. Jeez Louise. I'm losing my mind right here. Crazy. Alright, well. We all know what this means, except for you who don't play StarCraft 2, I suppose. In the bottom left side, he's going to be a little bit cheeky here today. The Green Terran from Spain. Here's Team Rotti's Acheron. With the Phoenix logo right there and the red, white and blue. What more could you ask of a logo? Everything you need. In the top right side, there's a blue Terran. A American-Mexican who is going to be proxy 2 racks. Will he be able to hold it off? Let's give it up for Alpha X's Vindicta. 2 points removed from victory. Will it be a short 3 points on the board now, and just 1 point removed for victory here for Vindicta, or will Acheron be able to tie this up? Oh dear lord. Well, we've seen this in the other games as well. Vindicta adamant about doing the SCV scouting around his proximity, and that's what he's doing now once more. It's paying the bills right now. It looks like does scout these 2 barracks. May even no, won't be able to slow down the production of one of these barracks. Unfortunately, is attempting to do so, but I mean there's just too much HP still remaining on those SCVs. Vindicta mostly taking in priority at home, instead of microing that SCV. Needs to get those those bunkers up and get himself sorted on the defense here. Looking pretty darn sharp. 2 bunkers on the left and 1 bunker on the right. Should have all his bases covered. I really like the bunker right next to the barracks as well. Makes it very difficult for these Reapers to really get a snowball going in a way. Nice bit of damage there for Vindicta, already winning the initial micro battle. Now starting to produce more and more Marines to safeguard his ramp. Factory on the way as well. Vindicta already feeling comfortable enough to make that command center right in his own base. Acheron, of course, still a little bit more committed here. Ay, ay, ay. 3 Reapers jumping up on that cliff, deciding, you know what, that was not the best idea. How often can you say that somebody made double Rex Reaper work out better against the Protoss when he did it in his own base, rather than against a Terran when he proxied them? Man, this wall from Vindicta is really cool, actually. The more I think about it, not only are you able to send your Marines immediately into this bunker, also because he left a little bit of space over here. Like the Reapers, they can jump up, but they can't really pass by. So, wonderful stuff there for Vindicta, meaning basically he only really has to commit to defending these 2 bunkers and this area over here, shutting down the most important parts for Reapers, right? Their overall mobility. Vindicta is who you should be rooting for. Pain, that is Bibs. Sorry, I gave it away. Although maybe Pain won't be realizing that I gave it away. I'm just too hyped that you're here, my man. You know, it's always nice to have you join in. #1 Kozen fan. It's funny that here you are the #1 Kozen fan. And you are the #1 Vindicta fan on Trovo. That's kind of funny. Alright, Vindicta starting up a 3rd base here. Around the time when the 2nd base for Acheron is about to finish up. Still a bit of a containment here for Acheron, but that should be mitigated relatively soon. The thing for Vindicta here is that he can't run down the ramp just quite yet, because that would mean Acheron has enough forces to kind of run up here and still get a boatload of SCV kills, right? Why would you let that happen? And now, you know what, with this Cyclone, Vindicta has enough forces to force these Reapers out without giving up this location at the same time. So funnily enough, Vindicta still not mining first from that lower ground position. Don't forget to thumbs up and follow. That's right. There's a little thumbs up thingamajig on the bottom of this stream. It does help out. Allows us to get a little bit of better viewership overall. Gets us to the front page of Afrika. Up. And yeah. Thank you, Sun Lily, also helping out. Awesome, Pain. Alright. Now. Siege tanks in the making here for Acheron. We haven't seen mech coming out for Acheron just quite yet. Every single time he did go the route of the bio. But Vindicta's mech play has been working out for him relatively well in this TVT matchup. Going for it once more. Have a lollipop. Nice. Only now the 3rd base for Acheron has started, as Vindicta already has that nice and steady orbital right here. Getting that extra mule money that should spiking up pretty quickly here. Activate military documents. This is true. Bibs' autograph is a military document. Really seeing that those accelerated shooter gunners helping out a ton there in that fight. It's just so much more damage that you do with the Cyclones. It is quite crazy. And Acheron here, I mean, he's keeping up relatively well, isn't he? The worker count's still pretty equal. The army count also very equal right now. And it looks like Acheron, I may be mistaken, but I'm not seeing any case of the bio quite yet. It may be. Now he's also going for the mech right now. 4 siege tanks, mostly Vikings as well. A couple of Liberators, I believe. Let me take a look. No, okay, just the first Liberator right now on the way, but that's some good stuff overall here for Acheron. These Cyclones, if they do manage to get a couple of lock-ons though on these units before they siege up. Oh dear lord, run away. Okay, does run away in time as well. Lovely stuff. Yeah, the buffering on the Freaker TV, it's a bit rough sometimes. You wanna maybe try lowering the overall quality of the stream. It is frustrating, but it definitely does help. Vindicta losing a couple of those Cyclones there. They are expensive boys. You still want them around to try and help out against the Liberators, against the Vikings here. Another scan coming in, but yeah. Oh, hello. Oh, I got spotted. The Raven anti-armor missile on top of the Vikings. Absolutely massive Dorito dust right there. And Vindicta cleans it up. No sweat, no problem. Before that Liberator comes into play. Very, very well played there by Vindicta. Shuts it entirely down. Gets himself quite a solid lead right here, I would say. Two armories now on the way here for Vindicta, as well as the engineering bay. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 4th base. Where is that 4th base? There it is. As well for Acheron on the way though. He's not slouching behind just quite. Yeah, he wants to keep this going, this momentum. Trying to send out a couple of Liberators for harassment though. The one on the left immediately shut down. There is another one in the top though. He may have forgotten about it. It's been a while since he moved that over there. Nice position for that siege tank right there with the SCVs as well, repairing it. Vindicta getting scanned again there. Unfortunately, we'll lose those. I think that was 3 siege tanks that he lost there. It's a bit of a pain. That's a bit of a pain. Vikings landing here on the natural base. Will be able to deny this mining. Maybe even force these siege tanks across the pathway again. Maybe the Marines will be enough. Actually, a little bit of a missed rally there from those units coming in through the damage area of those siege tanks. There's no vision here for Vindicta, so sometimes you'll see units moving past here without really taking any damage, but this is absolutely abysmal here for Acheron. He is trying to do the counter damage. I believe there was a Liberator right there. Did get shot down by those Vikings. So Acheron did find that that Liberator, but as we can clearly see now on the income grab, Vindicta starting to run away with this man, with this one. Vindicta on the right side as well with those Hellions. This could be pretty large. I think he's anticipating the base on the high ground, unless if he wants to shoot from the high ground. I mean, he did see those SCVs, right? Okay, maybe he didn't. You can see the minerals here, but I mean, he's not really going for it just about now. Oh, this could be large as well, though. Massive drop. Here is a planetary fortress. Is there a siege tank? There's only a single siege tank on the high ground. It might still be able to do quite a bit here. Shut down the entirety of the mining there. A lot of probes do, or SCVs, sorry, go down on the own 4th base of Acheron and realizes he has nothing against those Hellions. GG's, taps out there. And Vindicta takes another game here. Puts himself on match point 3-1. Looking pretty darn sharp here, Vindicta. I have to say, honestly, I think he might be a little bit lucky that I didn't have to play against Art either, because, I mean, we kind of know the history between Vindicta and Art. Art's always quite able to find a victory against him. So, you know what, Vindicta? Looking pretty darn good, though, against this man that 3-0'd Art in the TVT matchup. It's an entirely different playing field, so... Great stuff. Great stuff overall. Alright, let's see what the map will be for Acheron here. It won't be the last game, but it will be his last map choice, right? This is where he gets to choose on which map he may be able to turn it around. It all comes down to this, what he chooses. And which maps can he even choose from, right? Let me take a quick glance here. Which maps have we not played upon yet? I think it's what's it? Golden Wall and Pillars of Gold and Submarine? Have we played Submarine with these guys? I don't think we have. Anyway, if you haven't already, check out the Matcherino link as well, guys. It would be greatly appreciated. You can contribute to this overall game and this team as well, the things that we do, just by simply going to the website and filling out a contribute code. You don't even need to make an account. You can log in with whatever account you already have logged on to your browser with, whether that be Twitch, whether that be Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. It's all there. And yeah, go check it out. Add a little bit of money. That's not your own money to the prize pool. Because, you know what? Spending somebody else's money, always the best thing in the world, isn't it? Really is. It really is. Because you get to, you know what, make expenditures without losses. Without losing money. What's more fun than buying things? Buying things with somebody else's money. Putting it to good use as well in the StarCraft world. You can also do a couple of quests there. Of course, quests will be quite easily achieved as well. Very simply, get yourself sorted out with some follows, some retweets, stuff like that, and just like that, you'll get another 10 or 20 cents into this prize pool. If we all do it, and definitely, you know what, ramps up the overall prize pool for these two fellas quite a bit. Alright. In the top right side. Needs 3 victories in a row right now. It's the Green Terran player. He is from Team Rotti. And he's from Spain. He is Acheron. Bottom left side, a Red Terran player. Fighting for Alpha X, the American Mexican. He is Vindicta. Spain, that's right. Yeah, alright, you are Spanish. It's Spain, that's right. Alright. Let's see what these boys are up to now. Actually, this is the first time we actually do see the double Rex opening that is in his own base. So this work wonders versus odds. Will not be scouted, of course, by Vindicta, because there is the double supply depot. But the double supply depot on its own, already a little bit telling that something is off here. Something crazy is happening. You wouldn't make that double supply depot and you're just going for the factory double refinery play. It does kind of give away that you're planning something sneaky here. Now, Vindicta not 100% sure what that sneaky thing is, of course. But he should be feeling pretty comfortable with his own setup here, right? That factory already well and proper on the way here. Getting a second Reaper. We'll be able to start up that Hellion very quickly too. It should be good. Should be pretty darn good. The double Rex in your own base really more so is for defensive purposes, right? But basically allows you to get that natural base a little bit quicker. You'll still be okay against the Proxy 2 Rex yourself, without having to get that second gas as quickly as you would if you were going for a factory first. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, Vindicta really jumping on this one right here. Once they get the engagements. Does manage to trade. Well, alright, I suppose. Didn't go horrible. But of course, I mean, he is the player that needs to make something happen here. As we have 3 command centers pretty darn soon available for Acheron, as he's just booted up his 3rd right now. Vindicta, instead of ramping up the aggression here, will try to go for his own natural base here. This could be trouble for him. This could be quite a bit of trouble. Overall, wants to, you know what, probably try and deal damage here, but overall his Hellions aren't going to be able to achieve anything because they're, well, they're dead. Even with that medevac right here, won't be able to do too much. And the advantage that he had, having this tech more available, may go on the decline relatively soon, as it is becoming available here for Acheron 2. The Liberator, though, might be an entirely different ordeal. We don't have a Cyclone. We don't have any Marines so far. 2 Marines will be coming out, but with a well-positioned Liberator, that shouldn't do too much. And Vindicta gets the scout on his 3rd base. He's going to know now how incredibly greedy Acheron has been in this in his own base right here. And Vindicta just committing most of these units, trying to get as much economic damage as possible. Let's see if he goes for his own 3rd base here, if he tries to do something else that is maybe a little bit crazier. So far, just doing some pretty standard stuff. Going for the siege tank. The siege tank as well could be pretty darn nice here, of course. Acheron will have to most likely make a Viking or a Liberator, the Cyclone, to try and deal with the Liberator. Meaning that his siege tanks are going to be delayed, right? As we can see, look at this. Only making a reactor now on this. Should be pretty good for Vindicta if he does manage to come across here with a siege tank. Actually, apparently he didn't even need the Viking necessarily. And still very, very far removed from having a siege tank. So, Vindicta, if he gets his own siege tank here in a good position, which looks like he will. There we go. It's sieged up now. That's a lot of trouble. 2nd siege tank even on the way here. And I do believe he has the range on the stim pack right there. Would love to see that getting cancelled. I don't think he's going for it though. Right now he is, but it won't be in time. Does get completed. That's a big deal. This might give Acheron a single fight here that he might be able to take. But he needs a very, very clean fight overall. Vindicta unsieges one of his siege tanks here. This might be the moment in time where this will be coming in hot right now. There we have the Marines. It's not enough. And congratulations is called. Vindicta takes the series 4-1. Once more being able to shut down Acheron right then and there. Very, very well played by Vindicta. And that, my ladies and gentlemen, will be all for today. One more shout out to that Matcherino page. If you haven't already, hit us up on that one. It would be greatly appreciated. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. Let me figure out how to type GG again. And yeah, I hope to see you next time around as well. We had some lovely games. Estrella versus Alazer. We had Art versus Acheron. We had Vindicta versus Solier. And then finishing it all off with a finals between Vindicta and Acheron, of course. Vindicta doing a wonderful job there. And yeah, we'll be back on Friday, I do believe, with some really big tournaments. So make sure to tune in then. I think that will be on the Twitch. So all you Afrika people that, you know what, don't really like Afrika TV, What you gonna do? What you gonna do? We'll be there on Friday, though. So, see you then, hopefully, and love you all. All right? Bye-bye.